Lin Chen stared at the scorching sun while holding aloft a large stone that weighed at least dozens of tons in both hands. Suddenly, he threw the boulder in his hand into the sky, and at the same time, he cupped his hands, and deep blue light rays appeared between his palms. Kamehameha. Just before Lin Chen uttered the last word, he suddenly disappeared from his place, and when he reappeared, he was already high in the sky, almost parallel to the flying boulder. Ha! Lin Chen shouted the last word, and an energy wave shining with deep blue radiance blasted out at the same time, directly engulfing the boulder. The energy wave shooting across the sky was also reflected in the eyes of 3 people below. Looking at the energy wave that was several times thicker and stronger than when he uses it with his full strength, Turtle Hermit was shocked. While Tights and Bulma, who were carrying 2 turtle shells on their back, cheered excitedly. Brother Lin Chen is so powerful. In the sky, Lin Chen looked at the result of his technique's use and was very satisfied. As expected of a unique technique rewarded by the system. This move Instant Kamehameha not only has the effect of Turtle Hermit's Kamehameha that can attack with a power level far beyond the limit, but also the accompanying instant transmission is more flexible than instant transmission of Kibito that Lin Chen knows. Kibito's instant transmission is only used to serve Supreme Kai's movements around the universe, so its usage speed was not fast. If the disparity in strength is large, it is not a problem, but if it is against an enemy with similar strength, this technique shouldn't be used in battle at all. But instant transmission of instant Kamehameha is completely suitable for combat use, which is different from Kibito and Goku's instant transmission as it can instantly arrive wherever you want, as long as it is a place within one's line of sight. In a battle, it can definitely be used as an unexpected counterattack. Returning back on the ground, Lin Chen said to Turtle Hermit with a smile, "Master Roshi, how was my use of Kamehameha?" Turtle Hermit sighed, Lin Chen, I already said there is nothing I can teach you, but you didn't believe me. In a blink of an eye, a month has passed. In the past month, Lin Chen instigated Turtle Hermit to demonstrate his techniques in front of him and stealthily learned all his techniques including Kamehameha and Afterimage Fist. Beginner martial arts talent is really useful. Lin Chen's task has been completed, but the training path of Tights and Bulma has only just begun. But Lin Chen, who had nothing else to learn, naturally couldn't waste time on Turtle Hermit's place. Just when Lin Chen was thinking about whether he should go to King Kai's place next, the scouter that he has been wearing all this time suddenly sent a communication request. The original scouter, besides detecting power level and life forms, could also be used as a communicator. The communication function far surpasses Earth's technology, even if one is separated by tens of thousands of light years, it can still achieve real-time communication. And Bulma naturally copied this function to the new scouter. The communication request was from Planet Vegeta. Most of the 100 scouters that Bulma produced earlier on, Lin Chen gave them to King Vegeta and others. As there were more and more Saiyans whose power level has surpassed 30,000, those outdated scouters left over from Frieza Force have become useless and this batch of new scouters just meet the needs of King Vegeta and the others, and are all given primarily to troops who go outside to carry out peacekeeping missions. Beep. Lin Chen picked up the communication and said, King Vegeta, what's the matter? Your Majesty, we've received a report from Galactic Patrol just now. Queen Hanasia and the others, who were currently on a mission, may have gotten ambushed by the Frieza Force. Frieza? He finally couldn't hold back. Lin Chen frowned. Ever since Saiyans have formed the peacekeeping force under the jurisdiction of Galactic King, they have fought Frieza Force several times. As Universal Emperor who once ran rampant in the universe, Frieza Force has always been the dreaded enemy of Galactic King and Galactic Patrol. Galactic Patrol has always been helpless when it comes to Frieza Force invading planets and destroying civilization. But with the formation of Saiyan Peacekeeping Force, Galactic Patrol finally has the strength to fight back. So after that, Saiyan Force on Planet Vegeta has half of the missions all related to Frieza Force. From preventing the other party from invading planets, to liberating the colonized planets, Saiyan and Frieza force have already fought dozens of times. During this period, Saiyans finally got the exact information. Frieza, who was defeated by Lin Chen in Planet Vegeta's moon orbit, did not die, instead he was rescued by his father King Cold's subordinates. However, because of his serious injuries, Frieza hadn't recovered in the past few years. His father, King Cold, not only reorganized the Cold Force for the sake of his children, but also kept sending out his and Frieza's forces on expeditions outside, looking for ways and technologies to revive Frieza. And only until recently, he heard that Frieza had not only regained his mobility, but also his combat ability. After knowing this news, in order to guard against Frieza's retaliation, Lin Chen specially warned Bardock that Han Asia has to be personally in charge of every operation of the peacekeeping force in the future. Although the strength of Saiyans now is not what it used to be, the only person who can face the Universal Emperor is Han Asia, who can transform into Super Saiyan. But Lin Chen thought of the Dragon Ball's power level analysis he had read and was a little worried. Frieza's power level in his strongest state is more than 100 million, while Han Asia's power level, who has just become Super Saiyan, is only around 10 million. Thinking of this, Lin Chen explained to Turtle Hermit and the others, and then immediately performed instant transmission and returned directly to Planet Vegeta. After returning to Planet Vegeta, Lin Chen realized that the situation seemed to be much worse than he thought. In Saiyan's command center, Lin Chen saw a panicked King Vegeta. "What's the matter? Did something happen?" "Yes, Your Majesty, we've just received the latest news that all contact with Queen Hannah and the warriors assigned to the current mission have been lost." King Vegeta said worriedly, "We are at the moment contacting Galactic Patrol to confirm the situation, but it is very likely that Queen Hannah and the others have been killed by Frieza." "Han Asia's dead. Han Asia's dead." Lin Chen was dumbfounded. His wife Han Asia, who can transform into Super Saiyan, was killed by Frieza. At this time, knowing that Lin Chen had hurriedly come over, Tardock and Paragus both rushed over. Paragus said in a heavy voice, "Don't be too sad, Your Majesty, this is just a speculation from Galactic Patrol. The actual situation hasn't been confirmed yet, it may be that their communicator has malfunctioned." Lin Chen frowned, not much hopeful about it. After all, Han Asia's power level is only around 10 million, which is far from being compared to what he knows about Frieza's power level. In the Dragon Ball world that he knows of, although Frieza never spoke of his power level in final form, the general opinion is that in the final form, when Frieza uses 100% of his power level is around 120 million. If Frieza's power level in this world is the same, then Han Asia naturally wouldn't be his match. And even the current Lin Chen may not be able to defeat Frieza, because with Lin Chen's full strength, after transforming into a Super Saiyan, he can only reach around 20 million power level. 20 million versus 120 million. This is a sure-to-lose battle. However, Lin Chen had already decided that he would go over to look for Han Asia. If they are still alive, immediately bring them back to Planet Vegeta. If Han Asia and the others are dead, he will avenge them. Even if he clearly knows that he is not Frieza's match, he would still do it. In the original work, Goku only had a few million power level and he dared to fight Frieza, the great tyrant, while Lin Chen has the bloodline of legendary Super Saiyan, so how could he cower? Fighting to the death is the style of the owner of legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. Which planet did Han Asia and others go to? Give me the coordinates. Your Majesty. Bardock grabbed Lin Chen. Your Majesty, please think carefully. You are the king of Saiyans, you must not act rashly. Bardock, step back. Lin Chen shouted loudly. But not only did Bardock not back down, even King Vegeta tried to persuade him, Your Majesty, the situation is unclear at the moment. You should wait for the Galactic Patrol to investigate D'Entrée making a decision. Lin Chen glanced at him and said, King Vegeta, don't forget, besides Frieza, we Saiyans have another more powerful enemy. If we are cowering even in front of Frieza, how will we fight against it in the future? Send me the coordinates. King Vegeta was taken aback. Of course, he knew that the powerful enemy Lin Chen was talking about is naturally the god of destruction Beerus. Indeed, what is even Frieza compared to Beerus? Thinking of this, King Vegeta finally lowered his head and said, "I understand, Your Majesty." Soon, King Vegeta sent the coordinates of the planet that Hanasia and others went to. The mission that Hanasia and the others were carrying out this time was to go to a planet called Tiu. The civilization on this planet is more primitive and backward than Earth, but the planet produces a special metal that is extremely suitable as a material for spaceships. According to the information obtained by Galactic Patrol beforehand, there was a group of space pirates who were eyeing this metal, intending to destroy the civilization on the planet, and then take those metals for themselves. Because the members of these pirates were from a powerful race, Galactic Patrol couldn't deal with them, so they called Saiyans for support. However, shortly afterward, Galactic Patrol got a tip-off. It turned out that there was another conspiracy behind the attack. Those space pirates were just bait. Not far from planet Tiu, Frieza force was already waiting in hiding. After getting the coordinates of planet Tiu, Lin Chen immediately locked on to its location and then teleported over. At that time, planet Tiu. Or to say, in the space region where planet Tiu was supposed to exist. The planet named Planet Tiu had already disappeared, and all that could be seen at the scene were huge rock fragments like a meteorite belt, floating aimlessly in the empty darkness. And a huge but ugly figure was laughing wildly in front of the rock fragments. Ha ha ha. What beautiful fireworks. Stupid Saiyan monkeys. You are buried with such beautiful fireworks, thank me when you arrive in the underworld. Ha ha ha. Frieza with half of his body of flesh and half of machinery, was in his third form and laughing wildly, a tyrannical look on his face. Although the battle just now caused him to be battered and exhausted and the wounds on his body were still aching, but in the end, he still had the last laugh. Even the Super Saiyan who was so powerful wasn't his match. Now, you wild monkeys should understand it. I, Frieza, am the most powerful person in the universe. Ha ha ha. In space far away from Frieza, the disc-shaped mothership of Frieza Force was floating. The aliens on the spaceship also had an expression of surviving a disaster on their faces. None of them expected that what was supposed to be a meticulously planned ambush would turn out to be the reason for their Frieza Force near defeat. Fortunately, their leader Frieza ultimately came out on top. I didn't expect there to be a Super Saiyan from Legends among those Saiyans. Yeah, no wonder King Frieza was almost killed by Saiyans back then. Those Saiyans are really terrifying. It's fortunate that Saiyan can't survive in space. That female Super Saiyan was too careless, otherwise Lord Frieza may have died once again. It's a pity that all the combatants on the planet are buried with those Saiyans. Yeah. Shut up. On the spaceship, a purple-skinned alien with two black horns on his forehead shouted. His voice caused the others to shut up immediately. Because this alien, besides Lord Frieza, is the #1 expert in Frieza Force, Captain Jinyu of Jinyu Force. Dantin Jinyu unhappily looked at the others with a cold look on his face. Don't you know how Lord Frieza's temper is? If he heard what you just said, we would all die here. I managed to survive with great difficulty. If anyone wants to drag me to hell together, I'll kill him first. Captain Jinyu gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. When they ambushed Saiyans, everyone thought that it would be completely safe. King Frieza, who has been reborn using high technology, retains his original memories. He clearly remembers that at that time Saiyans defeated him only by relying on transforming into Great Ape and launching a sneak attack. So this time, Frieza was confident in his revenge plan. It's just that they didn't expect that Saiyans, who Frieza Force hadn't been in contact with for several years, would turn out to be much stronger than before. In the past, although Saiyans called themselves a fighting race, but in fact, within the Frieza Force, they were always regarded as a laughing stock. Because most Saiyans' power level didn't even surpass 10,000. If they didn't have the ability to transform into great ape, Saiyans would have probably been treated like miscellaneous soldiers in the force. But this time, when hundreds of soldiers from Frieza force attacked the Saiyan squad with less than 10 people on planet Teu, the Saiyans burst out with a completely different strength from the past. It was just a few trifling Saiyans, but Frieza force was sent fleeing helter-skelter, and even the Jinyu force that participated in the attack was almost wiped out. Rikum, Berter, Jis, Goldo. Jinyu's 4 subordinates were also killed instantly by a female Saiyan during the battle. If it wasn't for Frieza, who has been watching all along, discovered that something was wrong with the female Saiyan and personally took action, even Jinyu would have been killed. And the fight that followed showed Jinyu why that female Saiyan was so powerful. It turned out that she was Super Saiyan from Legends. Even Lord Frieza, in front of her, was beaten till he could not fight back at all, and even after he underwent 2 transformations in a row and his power level increased drastically, he was beaten badly. Fortunately, in the end, the angered Frieza took advantage of her being off guard and suddenly used his unique skill, Planet Destroying Ball, to destroy Planet Teu. Otherwise I'm afraid that Lord Frieza, who has just been resurrected not long ago, would have been beaten to death by Super Saiyan again. Damn it! Damn Saiyan, now I have to recruit members for the special squad again. I wonder if I can find outstanding team members like Rikum and others. Jinyu gritted his teeth. At this moment, the energy scouter on the bridge suddenly issued an alarm sound. Jinyu raised his head and asked, "What's going on?" "Captain Jinyu. A high-energy signal has been discovered ahead." "What? Where?" "It's right next to Lord Frieza. It looks like a Saiyan." Whoosh! Lin Chen left the instant transmission state and appeared at Planet Teu's location. But the next moment, he found that there was nothing underneath his feet, and at the same time, a feeling of suffocation instantly enveloped his body. Lin Chen held his breath in panic, and discovered that he was actually in outer space. "Where is Planet Teu?" Lin Chen looked around and immediately understood what was going on. No wonder everyone including Han Asia lost contact. It turns out that Planet Teu has been destroyed. And Frieza is the only one who can instantly destroy Planet Teu, such that even a strong expert like Han Asia couldn't escape in time. Where is Frieza? Thinking of this, Lin Chen felt a vast aura around him. Turning his head around to look, sure enough, not far away, he saw Frieza, who was also looking surprised. After scanning Frieza from top to bottom, Lin Chen understood that Frieza really hadn't died at that time. Right now, he should be Mecha Frieza restored with alien technology. It's just that compared to in the original work, Mecha Frieza was in the 3rd form, and not the final form like in the original work. Oh hoo hoo. In Lin Chen's ears, Frieza's signature sinister laughter suddenly drifted over. Because Planet Teu has just been destroyed, there were still some gases in the surrounding space region. There was no oxygen in these gases and could not help people breathe, but they could transmit sound. Let's see, who is this? Isn't this the Saiyan who almost killed this king back then? Frieza sneered before his face turned cold and he roared at Lin Chen, "Damn monkey. You dare to show up in front of me? Die." Saying that, without listening to his explanation, Frieza suddenly pointed his finger at Lin Chen and a purple beam shot out. When 2 enemies meet, their eyes turned red from hate. The last time Frieza almost died under Lin Chen's hands, so seeing Lin Chen, he didn't think about how Lin Chen suddenly appeared, and immediately used a killing move. The killing move that has instantly killed millions of people in the past, directly slammed into Lin Chen, bursting into shocking radiance. Amidst the radiance, Frieza sneered, "Damn monkey, now I can finally take my revenge. Next will be Planet Vegeta, all Saiyans will die." Die. The only one who will die today is you, Frieza. Suddenly, a voice entered Frieza's head. The next moment, he saw Lin Chen emerge from the radiance, and seeing Lin Chen's appearance, Frieza's face couldn't help but turn panicked. Blonde hair. The Saiyan in front of him can also transform into golden-haired like the previous female Saiyan. You are also a Super Saiyan. No, impossible. How can there be so many Super Saiyans in this world? It's just a legend, how can it be true? Death beam. As soon as his words fell, Frieza's right hand's 2 fingers condensed 3 purple light beams which again shot towards Lin Chen. But this time, Frieza saw Lin Chen's eyes open wide as he raised his palm and slapped away his sure-kill unique skill. Boom! The flying beam collided with a floating meteorite before exploding into astonishing radiance. What? What happened to my death beam? Frieza, is this just what you are capable of? Lin Chen used his ki to directly transmit his voice to Frieza in space. Hurry up and use your full strength. I want to avenge Han Asia and those Saiyans who were killed by you. Full strength. Saiyan Wild Monkey. The corner of Frieza's mouth twitched, and the 2 fingers of his right hand condensed 3 purple light beams, which he shot at Lin Chen again. Lin Chen raised his hand, and like swatting a fly, slapped the 3 beams away easily again. Not long afterwards, 3 flashes lit up in the distance. Ding! Beginner martial arts talent activates, learning the technique Death Beam. Seeing his beginner martial arts talent take effect for the first time, Lin Chen was neither sad nor happy, he just sneered. I let you attack so many times, it's time for me to hit back. After saying that, Lin Chen retracted his smile and immediately attacked Frieza. Boom! Before Frieza could react, Lin Chen had raised his fists and continuously punched Frieza's head. Whoosh! Frieza was sent flying like a cannonball before crashing into a rock several stories tall, burrowing out of it and flying into another rock again. Just like that, one rock after another, Frieza didn't stop until he collided with the 7th rock. How could it be? How could it be? Why is he so strong? Why is a Saiyan so strong? Frieza screamed, not able to make sense of what was happening in front of him. On Frieza's spaceship, Captain Jinyu and the others gasped. Why? Why are there 2 Super Saiyans? Have Saiyans already become so strong? Can King Frieza win? These Saiyans are too powerful. Nonsense. King Frieza just killed a Super Saiyan. This Saiyan will be no exception. When an alien uttered this sentence, the people on the spaceship suddenly became quiet. Immediately afterwards, someone said while trembling with fear, by the way, that Saiyan, why isn't he dead yet? When were Saiyan able to survive in space? When they heard this, the people on the spaceship gasped. Yeah. It's outer space outside, and planet Tu had long disappeared. In that case, how did that Saiyan survive in space? At this time, Frieza on the battlefield also thought of this problem. With a surprised expression on his face, he looked at Lin Chen who had flown over and said angrily, Why? Why aren't you dead yet? When were Saiyan able to survive in a vacuum environment? Of course, ordinary Saiyans can't, but I'm not an ordinary Saiyan. I'm a legendary Super Saiyan. Lin Chen looked indifferent as his voice was transmitted through the surrounding gases. Legendary Super Saiyan. Ridiculous. Do you think this king will believe this nonsense? Frieza waved his hand and said. However, at this time, his keen eyes noticed that around Lin Chen, there was a faint barrier of light covering his whole body. That should be some kind of energy shield, Frieza guessed. Frieza has guessed right. The energy shield was the innate bloodline affinity of Lin Chen's legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. Since the vacuum can't kill you, then this king will kill you himself. As soon as Frieza's voice fell, he suddenly appeared in front of Lin Chen and punched Lin Chen heavily in the stomach. But to Frieza's surprise, his fist seemed to have hit an iron block. Lin Chen didn't react at all, then his own fist was hurting. Is that all the strength you have? Frieza, don't you have another transformation? Use it, or like last time, you want to be killed by me without even showing your full strength? Lin Chen said indifferently. But there was a hint of fury in his eyes. This time, Lin Chen was really angry. Not because Frieza killed Han-Asia, but because Frieza killed Han-Asia not in a fair fight, but by destroying the planet. How could my wife be killed in this way? Come on, Frieza. Use all of your strength. For the sake of those you killed, I will defeat you fairly this time. A mere Saiyan is worthy of this king using his full strength. An evil aura exploded in an instant, and Frieza's entire body was surrounded by white aura, and he started punching Lin Chen crazily. Bang, bang, bang. Although no sound could be heard in the space, the fluctuations caused by Frieza's fists continued to reverberate through the space. Come on, King Frieza. King Frieza is invincible. On Frieza's spaceship, the aliens shouted with excitement when they saw Frieza's continuous attacks. Among them, Jinyu was the only one who kept backing away with a look of fear. As the strongest expert on the ship, Jinyu could see that although Frieza kept attacking, the Saiyan was completely fine. The disparity between the two sides was completely overwhelming. Super Saiyan is actually so terrifying. How is it possible? How is it possible? When Frieza had punched thousands of times, he discovered that he hadn't injured Lin Chen at all. This king's power level is 3 million. Why can't I destroy your body? Hearing Frieza's words, Lin Chen frowned slightly. At this moment, Frieza suddenly stopped attacking and distanced himself from Lin Chen. Good, good. Damn monkey. Since you want this king to use his full strength, he'll do as you wish. Prepare to experience terror. This king's power level in final form is more than 100 million. Ha! The next moment, an evil aura erupted out and Frieza's body began to undergo new changes. However, those changes looked a little disgusting to Lin Chen. Because he saw Frieza's body twist and deform and his flesh fall out. Lin Chen didn't know that, in fact, Frieza himself was extremely reluctant to undergo the final transformation. However, the reason why he is unwilling to transform is different from before. Because it was not easy to control the powers after transforming into final form, he previously did not like to transform. But now, transforming into his final form would cause him to suffer great pain. When Frieza was heavily injured by Lin Chen, he was injured in the first form. Therefore, when Frieza's body was reassembled using high technology, Frieza's body was also restored in the first form. Although the technicians who repaired Frieza worked hard to ensure that Mechabody would not affect Frieza's transformation, Mechabody is not the original body after all. Especially when he transforms into final form, the pain is the worst. Therefore, even when facing Han-Asia before, Frieza only transformed into third form, and then when he found that he could not defeat Han-Asia, he chose to destroy the planet instead of transforming into the final form to win. But now facing Lin Chen who can survive in vacuum, Frieza could only choose to endure the pain and undergo the final transformation. Ha! When the aura surrounding his body exploded completely, a petite Frieza finally appeared in front of Lin Chen. Frieza was breathing heavily and his face was dipping with cold sweat as he said, "I've kept you waiting. Saiyan. This is the strongest form of this king you wanted to see." Frieza raised one finger and sneered at Lin Chen, "Let me tell you in advance, my current power level is over 100 million. Hearing Frieza's words, Lin Chen's doubts finally became clear. He couldn't help but smile. 100 million. Frieza, I didn't expect you to be so good at bragging. Huh? Frieza was stunned for a moment before saying with a gloomy look, "What do you mean?" Hee, Frieza, can you tell me, how did you know that your power level is 100 million? As far as I know, the highest that Frieza Force's scouter could detect is max 2 million battle power, then how did you get this 100 million power level? Lin Chen laughed. That Frieza's face stiffened. Lin Chen smiled and said, "Frieza, if I am not mistaken, the so-called 100 million power level you just said was completely bragging, right? In fact, you don't even know what your power level is. 100 million power level, you just made it up, right? As for your real power level, unfortunately, it is only 11 million, which is almost 1/10 of the power level you guessed yourself. Author's digression: this is a second setting of the author. In the original work, Frieza's power level was 120 million, but the author has always found it strange, because a portable scouter would explode if power level is beyond the range of 100,000s, and even if it is a large scouter, judging from the fact that 100,000 will cause the previous one to explode, this may only have a range of a few million before it explodes. There was such a description in the original Dragon Ball Z anime, so how did Frieza know that his power level is more than 100 million? Hence the author believes that Frieza is bragging and his real power level is not that high. What nonsense! Frieza exclaimed angrily. But he was low in confidence. Because what Lin Chen said was not wrong at all. Frieza had indeed guessed the power level of his strongest form. In fact, since the invention of Scouter, the maximum power level that they can detect is only a little over 2 million. This measurement value was enough for more than 90% of the living beings in the universe, but it is of no use towards frost demons. Because once they transform back to the final, or to be more precise, original form, the power level of frost demons far exceeds the maximum value that Scouter can detect. So all along, Frieza, his father and others only made a rough estimate of their power level. Just like Frieza, who thought that his final form was dozens of times stronger than third form, so he guessed that his power level should be around 120 million. But in reality, Frieza's judgment was miles away from the real value. When Lin Chen heard Frieza claiming that his power level in the third stage was 3 million, he felt something was wrong, because according to the Scouter created by Bulma, Frieza's power level in third form was only 2.4 million. Later, when Frieza transformed into his final form, he discovered that Frieza's power level had only increased to 11 million, which was far from the 100 million power level that Frieza claimed to have. He initially thought it was Bulma's Scouter that was malfunctioning, but when he checked Frieza's power level with his system, it was also just 11 million. The 100 million power level that Frieza kept saying over and over in the past was really fishy. At first, Lin Chen was thinking of getting revenge for Han Asia and was preparing to fight to the death with Frieza, but now it turns out Frieza's strength is not even half his own. What a bunch of nonsense! At this moment, Frieza kept roaring in anger. How could my power level be only 11 million? Lin Chen pointed to the scouter he was wearing on his head. Frieza, I'll tell you one thing, my scouter is the latest one invented by a genius. Its detection value has no limit, and it is telling me that your power level is only 11 million. What? Frieza exclaimed in shock. By the way, let me tell you, my power level is over 20 million, and the female Super Saiyan you killed before just had power level of 12 million. So. You are too weak. You wild monkey, how dare you say that I, Frieza, am weak? Damn it, damn it. I am invincible. Frieza suddenly bent his left hand and turned his body half a circle to charge up energy. The next moment, astonishing flame-like energy waves were shot by Frieza. Boom, boom, boom. All of them struck Lin Chen's body. But it wasn't over yet. Frieza kept waving his hands, and kept hitting Lin Chen with killer balls. Ding! Congratulations host for learning killer ball. The dark space, for almost a full minute, was constantly illuminated by crimson flames. When Frieza came to a halt while gasping for breath, a smirk appeared on his face. You dared to say that this king is weak. Now you know how powerful this king is. Sorry, you are too weak. Suddenly, a voice sounded, and Frieza froze for a moment as if struck by lightning. His pupils shrank and a cold chill rushed to his brain. When Lin Chen appeared from inside the smoke, he saw Frieza, who was already frightened out of his wits and could sense fear flashing in his eyes. Lin Chen sighed. With Frieza like this, Hanasia should have been able to defeat him if she was able to survive in vacuum. Unfortunately, this Frieza is just too evil and cunning. Meanwhile, the gears in Frieza's mind were turning fast. For the first time in his life, he has felt the taste of fear. Facing the threat of death, Frieza said in panic, "No, I have to leave immediately and go to my father's place. I am not his match for now and only father can protect me." After knowing that it was impossible for him to win against Lin Chen, Frieza was only thinking about escaping. "Trash, I want you to die." Frieza shouted loudly as he raised his hand to create a purple-black energy ball out of thin air. The energy ball was full of violent powers. Frieza pushed his hand forward and the energy ball shot towards Lin Chen like a flying snake. Ding! Activating beginner martial arts talent, learning the technique Planet Destroying Ball. Just as the system prompt sounded in Lin Chen's mind, Frieza's body turned into a beam of light, rushing away in the opposite direction to Lin Chen. Over there was Frieza's spaceship. Although Frieza can survive and move around in space, it is different from a planet. Moving between stars, the fastest method is to always rely on a spaceship, and not the power of their body. Frieza looked at the spaceship in the distance that was gradually getting bigger and muttered to himself, "When I get to my father's place, I must train hard. There are just a few Saiyan monkeys. This king will definitely not lose to you." Because Frieza was born strong, he has not trained since he was born. He believes that with his talent, as long as he trains a little, he can surpass that Saiyan. After a while, he had almost arrived near the ship, and Frieza could even see his terrified subordinates inside the ship through the porthole. But he realized that his subordinates were banging on the window with a look of fear, and at the same time, they were wildly waving their fingers towards Frieza's back. Behind? Frieza turned around his head to look back and saw a blue light as dazzling as the sun suddenly appear in the space behind him. Lin Chen put his palms together, stared at Frieza in the distance and silently muttered, "Kamehameha." When he had just said the word "me," Lin Chen's figure suddenly disappeared and he just brushed past the energy ball thrown by Frieza. The next moment, Lin Chen suddenly appeared behind Frieza, making him startled. He turned around his head in disbelief. "How did you?" Frieza opened his mouth, but before he could finish speaking, Lin Chen had shouted the last word. "Ha!" Following a loud shout, Lin Chen pushed his hands forward, and a blue energy wave suddenly shot out, heading towards him with a terrifying might. "This king can't die." Knowing that it was too late to escape, Frieza shouted loudly and stretched out his arms, trying to push Lin Chen's Kamehameha back. However, his palms only persisted for a short while in front of the energy wave before being destroyed and engulfed by the terrifying energy. Ah! The next moment, even Frieza himself disappeared amidst the blue radiance. Rumble! The moment the tyrannical energy appeared in space, it also disappeared quickly. Soon, everything calmed down. Lin Chen stared ahead with an icy look in his eyes, and saw that 1,000 meters away in front of him, a badly mangled body was floating in space. That was Frieza, the once arrogant emperor of the universe. It's just that only less than a quarter of his body was left. Frieza's lower body was completely gone, as were his hands, and the part of his body that had been mechanically repaired on his head was also completely gone. But even so, Frieza's vital signs were still present. Even after suffering an instant Kamehameha from Lin Chen in Super Saiyan form, Frieza wasn't dead yet. His vitality is really terrifying. Lin Chen now understands why even with the same Namekian cell regeneration ability, even though Cell's upper body had completely disappeared, he could still be resurrected, but Piccolo was simply beaten to death by an energy wave from Nappa. The difference here is the powerful vitality of Frieza's frost demon race at work. Floating over to Frieza, Lin Chen looked at him and raised his right hand, preparing to give Frieza the final blow. It seemed that he knew that he would not escape this time, so Frieza had an imploring look on his face. "Please, please, save me, forgive me." "Save you? I'm not Goku and am not soft-hearted like him. Lin Chen sneered. Although Frieza didn't understand who Goku was, he understood that Lin Chen seemed unwilling to let him go. So, the emotion of fear gradually turned into despair, and then into anger. Saiyan. You've won this time, but at least I've taken a lot of Saiyans with me to death, and that female Saiyan, she should be your lover. Ho ho hoi will educate them well in hell. Idiot. They won't go to hell with you. Lin Chen said indifferently. What? Frieza stared blankly. After you die, I will go look for Dragon Balls and bring Han Asia and the others back to life. Even Planet Tu can be restored. Dragon Balls. So, go to hell yourself. Lin Chen pointed his finger, and a beam of energy that was exactly the same as Frieza's death beam, but was golden, flew out and sliced off Frieza's only remaining right arm. Death beam? How can you use my skill? It's just an insignificant skill, I easily learnt it after watching it once. Frieza, I'll let you die by your own skill. After saying that, Lin Chen shot out 5 more death beams, each of which completely evaporated Frieza's remaining body. When TT death beam shot towards Frieza's head, there was a miserable cry of "I don't want to die" from Frieza. In the world of Dragon Ball, the tyrannical emperor of the universe died just like that. This time, Frieza's body was completely shattered and evaporated, and no matter how high-tech the methods are, he cannot be resurrected. After taking care of Frieza, Lin Chen turned to look at Frieza Force's spaceship not far away and slowly extended his fingers towards them. Frieza's subordinates on the spaceship exclaimed in alarm. Escape! Quickly escape! Come on, it was King Frieza who annoyed you. You are such a powerful expert, why are you attacking us little lackeys? A group of aliens burst into tears. However, just when the huge spaceship had started, an energy wave ripped through the sky, bringing along with it tyrannical power, and rushed over. The spaceship exploded and shattered, and all the aliens in the spaceship melted because of the high temperature. Lin Chen suddenly frowned. Just before Frieza's spaceship exploded, he seemed to have seen a small spherical spacecraft escape. Should I chase? Lin Chen thought for a while, but didn't pay any attention. It's just a little lackey of Frieza Force, and it's not worth it for him to make a big fuss over it. In contrast, it's better to resurrect Han Asia and the others as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Lin Chen used instant transmission and immediately left. It's just that Lin Chen didn't know that on the little flying spacecraft that escaped early, it wasn't some insignificant little lackey, but Captain Jinyu. This elite subordinate of Frieza, when he saw Frieza being cruelly killed by Lin Chen, he reacted much quicker than others, and immediately escaped to the round spacecraft on which warriors could ride, thus narrowly escaping. Now watching his former mothership disappear amidst the blast wave, Jinyu gasped for breath with an expression of surviving a disaster. Fortunately, I escaped quickly. Saiyans didn't expect Saiyans to have such terrifying strength. But, just you wait, Saiyan. I will definitely bring King Frieza back to life. We Frieza Force will definitely be reborn. Captain Jinyu yelled. With the high-tech equipment on the spaceship, while Lin Chen told Frieza about the Dragon Balls, the people on the spaceship, including Jinyu, also heard about them. At that time, no one else on the spaceship reacted, but Jinyu thought of a rumor he had heard of in the past. According to a rumor, there is a mysterious race called Namekian in the universe, who have a magical ability to make wishing beads. It is said that as long as you gather 7 wishing beads, any wish can be fulfilled. The Dragon Balls that Saiyan spoke about should be wishing beads. It turns out that the legend is true, and there is really such a thing in the world. Just wait. I, Jinyu, will definitely get the Dragon Balls, resurrect King Frieza and the Jinyu Force. At that time, we will take our revenge. Captain Jinyu yelled from inside the spacecraft. Meanwhile, in the airspace tens of thousands of kilometers away from the place where Planet Tu used to be, a round spaceship of the same type as Frieza's mother ship also began to accelerate, moving far away from planet Tu. King Cooler, King Frieza's vital signs have disappeared. When an alien opened his mouth to report, there was a sound of sudden gasp on the spaceship. What? King Frieza is dead? Is Super Saiyan that powerful? An egg-shaped hovercraft was floating in front of everyone. A voice somewhat similar to Frieza came from the hovercraft. Quiet. Frieza has always been such an idiot. Last time he had suffered against the Saiyans, but he still didn't learn his lesson. He has only himself to blame for everything. Seeing the person on the egg-shaped hovercraft, all the aliens present knelt down on the ground. Because the person sitting on the hovercraft is their master, Cooler, the eldest brother of Universal Emperor Frieza. A blue-faced, purple-skinned and white-haired short person said to Cooler, "King Cooler, should we go over and take a look? King Frieza may not be dead. After all, he is also." "No need. Frieza has to pay the price for his stupidity." "Salza, we're going back." The subordinate named Salza hesitated for a moment, then nodded and said, "Yes, Your Majesty." Although Cooler's temper is much better than the temperamental and tyrannical Frieza, this does not mean that anyone can disobey his orders. Hearing Cooler's order, the people on the ship immediately got busy. They steered the spaceship to turn towards the territory of Cooler Force. However, these people could not have expected that their leader, King Cooler, had a gloomy look on his face at this time, pulling on a long face. In fact, the reason why Cooler didn't let them steer the spaceship over there just now was not because he didn't want to help Frieza, but because he was afraid. If the enemy can survive in space and easily defeat Frieza, then even Cooler may not be his match. He did not dare to get near him, afraid that the person who killed Frieza had not left, nor did he dare to stay long, afraid that person would notice them. He, the dignified Cooler, has to flee in panic because of fear. He could have never imagined such a thing happening in the past. A strong sense of humiliation made Cooler make up a decision in his heart. Damn it! We, Frost Demons, are the strongest in the universe. Saiyan, just you wait. I, Cooler, will definitely break through the limits of the Frost Demons. We'll meet when I've achieved my 4th transformation. At that time, I will protect the dignity of my Frost Demon race in place of Frieza. At this time, Lin Chen had also returned to Planet Vegeta and told King Vegeta and others what he had seen. While King Vegeta and the others were saddened at the death of Queen Hannah and others, they were also delighted at Lin Chen completely killing Frieza. Your Majesty Lynx, since Frieza is dead, the threats we face are much smaller. I think we can now be completely bold and go big. King Vegeta suggested. What do you want to do? Lin Chen asked, do you still want to conquer the universe? Of course not. King Vegeta hurriedly shook his head. Having been with Lin Chen for so long, he also knows that His Majesty is completely different from Saiyans in the past. Although he also has ambitions, this ambition is completely different from Frieza's. Moreover, Lin Chen had already repeatedly told everyone including King Vegeta that Saiyan's future cannot go the way of conquering and destroying by relying on violence. King Vegeta then said, Your Majesty Lynx, now that Frieza is dead, his subordinates are bound to fall apart. In the past, Frieza conquered and controlled hundreds of planets. The inhabitants of these planets have all controlled by Frieza like us Saiyans. Your Majesty, since you want to have us Saiyans become warriors of justice, why don't we go and liberate those planets? Liberate the planets? Lin Chen was pondering over King Vegeta's words when a voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Ding! It is detected that host is facing new choices, triggering the strongest selection system. Choice 1, liberate more than 70% of Frieza Force's territory. Reward, 50 bottles of Frost Demon Serum. Choice 2, liberate more than 70% of Frieza Force's territory, and more than 50% of Cooler Force's territory. Reward, 20 bottles of Frost Demon Serum and 1 tube of 100% S-Cell reagent. Choice 3, liberate the South area controlled by the legendary Super Saiyan. Reward, a legendary Super Saiyan 2 form experience card. This time, you can only choose one of 3 tasks, multiple selections are not allowed. Seeing that choices have been triggered, Lin Chen immediately signaled King Vegeta to wait for a moment as he needed to think about it. Next, Lin Chen checked the 3 choices given by the system this time. There were several rewards that Lin Chen was seeing for the first time, so he needs to verify them. System, what is Frost Demon Serum? Ding! Replying to host, Frost Demon Serum can transform any intelligent race into a Frost Demon. Please pay attention. This Frost Demon is an original Frost Demon, not a mutant like the Frieza family. The original Frost Demon? Is it someone like Frieza's ancestor Chilled? Lin Chen remembers that these Frost Demons seem to have no transformation ability like that of Frieza and the others, so their power level was not high, but at least it should be above 400,000. So this serum was somewhat useless to Saiyans, but if Lin Chen recruits aliens of other races as his subordinates in the future, these serums can come in handy. However, compared to the Frost Demon Serum, Lin Chen is more interested in the legendary Super Saiyan 2 form experience card in Choice 3. System, what does this experience card do? Ding! Replying to host, the experience card can transform host into legendary Super Saiyan 2 form for 1 hour. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 form. This is definitely a little interesting. Lin Chen was very clear that the legendary Super Saiyan mentioned by the system should be referring to the legendary Super Saiyan transformation that he has not yet learned. This transformation is a special transformation that only Lin Chen and Broly can grasp because of their legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 is a stronger variation of this transformation. In the original work, just the legendary Super Saiyan form had almost inexhaustible strength, and about the further transformation, Lin Chen has never heard of it. Currently, he hasn't even mastered the legendary Super Saiyan form, but now that he can have the opportunity to experience a stronger transformation, it was making him very eager. Choice 1 and Choice 2 can both enhance Lin Chen's forces, but Choice 3 is only an experience of becoming stronger for an hour. Which one to choose? After thinking about it for a moment, Lin Chen suddenly discovered another thing. Liberate the South area controlled by legendary Super Saiyan. Wait, South area controlled by legendary Super Saiyan mentioned in this choice, isn't this the plot of a Dragon Ball movie? And the legendary Super Saiyan in that movie, isn't that another version of Broly? Having lived in this world for so long, Lin Chen already knew that Broly in his world should be the Broly in Dragon Ball Super. If so, why would the task be to kill another Broly? What's going on? System, what's the name of the legendary Super Saiyan in Choice 3? Ding, replying to host, their name is Broly. So it is true. No, system, isn't Broly on Earth? How could he be in the South area? Lin Chen was doubtful. Ding. Replying to host, the target is Broly from a parallel universe and not the current universe of the host. Hearing the system's answer, Lin Chen was stunned for a while. So it's Broly of a parallel universe? This is so unusual. Fortunately, I asked, otherwise, how would I have finished the task? Lin Chen knows that Dragon Ball world is actually a very vast world. This world has the concept of multiple universes, and the whole world actually has a total of 12 universes. The universe where Lin Chen lives is one of the 12 universes. The relationship between different universes is just like different countries, and the difference between them is very big. Take Saiyans as an example. In the universe where Lin Chen lives, Saiyans were originally a warlike and brutal race, but in another universe, the Saiyans may be a group of people who love peace, and in the third universe, there may not even be a Saiyan race. On the basis of multiple universes, Lin Chen also knew that this world actually has a concept of a parallel universe. The so-called parallel universe refers to a similar but also dissimilar world which may have been born for some reason in the universe. Taking himself as an example, he is very clear that the world he is in must be a parallel universe of a certain universe. Because he showed up in this universe, Saiyans' home planet Vegeta was freed from the fate of being destroyed by Frieza. Besides this world, there should be a world that Lin Chen did not transmigrate to. In that world, because Lin Chen did not appear, Planet Vegeta was destroyed by Frieza just like the plot in the original work. Then, the task the system gave Lin Chen now was to have him go to a parallel universe to deal with another Broly. The question is, how can he go to the parallel universe required by the system? System, how do I complete choice 3? Will I be sent to that parallel universe? Ding! Replying to host, you have to find a way to complete the task by yourself, but system can point out to the host that in this universe, there is a way to go to the target's universe. System, then I will choose 3. After thinking about it, Lin Chen couldn't hold back his curiosity and chose the option that seemed the most difficult to achieve. After all, Frost Demon Serum given by Choice 1 and Choice 2 is not very helpful to Lin Chen, whose subordinates are still mainly Saiyan. And it's the legendary Super Saiyan 2 Forms experience card, he wants to see how it is. Ding, host has selected the choice, please complete the task as soon as possible. Because this task is quite difficult, the time limit will be increased to 3 years. Having confirmed his new objective, Lin Chen also issued a new order to King Vegeta and the others. Starting today, Saiyans will begin to attack the territories of Frieza Force and liberate those planets that were ruled by Frieza in the past. Although there is no system reward for doing so, attacking the Frieza Force territories would allow Saiyans to accumulate some combat experience. The experience with Han Asia has proved that no matter how strong you are, sometimes it is of no use. 5 years of peace have made many Saiyans forget the cruelty of battle. And while the Saiyan force was launching attacks in all directions, Lin Chen returned to Earth. The time limit for the system mission this time is 3 years, so Lin Chen plans to revive Han Asia and the others first. Once back on Earth, Lin Chen first went to the Kame house. When he returned, Turtle Hermit was teaching Tights and Bulma martial arts. Turtle Hermit. Tights. Bulma. Lin Chen called out and again showed PDA with Tights, then directly stated his purpose for coming. You want this bead of mine? I've been researching this thing for years, do you know what it is? Turtle Hermit raised the Dragon Ball tied around his neck with a surprised look on his face. Yes, this thing is actually called Dragon Ball. There are 7 in total. If you gather all of them, one of your wishes can be granted. What? So amazing! Turtle Hermit exclaimed, but still handed the Dragon Ball to Lin Chen. You're already so strong and you still need this, it must be something urgent. I'll give it to you. Thank you, Master Roshi. Lin Chen took the Dragon Ball, and after saying goodbye to the 3, he again teleported to another place. However, after Lin Chen left, a strange light flashed in Bulma's eyes. So what Brother Lin Chen said about the Divine Dragon is true. After taking away Turtle Hermit's Dragon Ball, Lin Chen came to Mount Paozu the next moment. Little Goku, who was still living alone in the mountains, was hunting outside. Lin Chen inwardly apologized and took away his 4-star bead. Immediately afterwards, he arrived on lookout. Brother Lynx. The first person who came out to greet Lin Chen was Broly, who had been living here for more than a year. He was wearing a set of clothes similar to that of Kami. He was already beginning to grow tall and was almost unrecognizable to Lin Chen. Yo! Broly! Looking at kind-hearted Broly, who was completely different from the past, and then thinking about the Broly that he is going to deal with in this task, Lin Chen only felt that he was too powerful such that even Broly could be changed to become like this by him. Broly, how have you been? Excellent. Thanks Big Brother Lynx for bringing me here. Here, I can learn all kinds of new things every day with Mr. Popo and Kami. Broly replied. Lin Chen smiled, then raised his head to look at Kami who was walking over. After greeting him, Lin Chen explained the purpose of his visit. Kami, I've come in the hope that you can find the remaining Dragon Balls for me. I already have 2 here. Lin Chen took out the 2 Dragon Balls he had collected. Don't glanced over, but said, Mr. Lin Chen, I remember I told you, You really don't know where the Dragon Balls are? Lin Chen interrupted Kami, if you help me this time, I can bring you over to your birthplace. Planet Namek. Kami's eyes widened. The last time Lin Chen brought Broly over, Kami already knew that he was an alien from another planet. As an alien orphan, he has always wanted to go back to his birthplace to take a look. But Kami immediately frowned and shook his head, No. Earth's Kami, I can't leave Lookout for too long. Lin Chen immediately said, Don't worry, it won't take too long. We will teleport to Planet Namek, and it will only take a moment. This time, Kami was finally completely moved. If it's just a few hours, it's really not a big problem. So, with a desire to go home, Kami did not act in perfunctory manner with Lin Chen anymore, and immediately instructed Mr. Popo to gather all the remaining Dragon Balls. This is Planet Namek. Seeing his home planet Namek for the first time, Kami couldn't help but tremble. A familiar feeling came from the depths of his soul and he couldn't help but take a deep breath. Even the air seemed to have a familiar smell. Come on, Kami, it'll take you to meet the Great Elder. Lin Chen patted Kami on the shoulder, and then led him to Great Elder's residence. Shortly afterwards, Kami met the first Namekian in his life aside from Great Demon King Piccolo. The one who greeted the 2 of them was still Nail, Great Elder's bodyguard. He bowed to Lin Chen and said, Long time no see, Mr. Lin Chen. Great Elder has asked me to come and welcome the Namekian who has returned home. Then, it was a harmonious scene of paying respect to your ancestors. Kami also learned from the Great Elder that he is the child of the Namekian named Kataz who was sent to Earth because of the climate disaster on planet Namek. During this time, Lin Chen silently stood on the side, watching everything. After Kami had talked about the past with the Great Elder said to Lin Chen, Mr. Lin Chen, have you come because of the Dragon Balls? Yes, Great Elder. I want to use Dragon Balls to make a wish. Do I need to face the trials again? Ho ho ho, Mr. Lin Chen, you are always welcome to use Planet Namek's Dragon Balls. Great Elder can somewhat see the future and he has seen in the past that Lin Chen might help Namekians. And as time went by, Great Elder also found that every time they met, Lin Chen would be much stronger than before. Great Elder thought it was worth it to have a good relationship with a strong expert like him. With the permission of the Great Elder, Lin Chen quickly gathered all 7 Dragon Balls from the villages all over the planet. When the 7 Dragon Balls from Planet Namek were gathered, Kami also took out the 7 Dragon Balls he had brought with him. Are these the Dragon Balls you made? You really are an excellent Dragon Clan. When the Great Elder saw Earth's Dragon Balls, he couldn't help but compliment. Thank you Great Elder for the compliment. Lin Chen, can we start? Sure. Lin Chen nodded. Rise, Shenron. Fulfill my wish. Kami shouted. Immediately afterwards, Nail also used Namekian language and shouted the chant to summon Purunga. And the next moment, Planet Namek's sky instantly plunged into darkness. 14 Dragon Balls flashed with golden light rays at the same time. Immediately afterwards, 2 dragons, one big and one small, mysteriously appeared out of thin air from the golden light rays. Earth's Eternal Dragon and Planet Namek's Eternal Dragon appeared at the same time and in the same place. Such a scene that had never appeared in the original work suddenly appeared in front of Lin Chen and the others. However, looking at this scene, the first sentence Lin Chen said was, Kami, your Eternal Dragon is so small. Kami broke out into cold sweat as he said embarrassedly, Yeah, I am much lacking than the Great Elder. Great Elder chuckled and said comfortingly, It's okay, appearance is not important, the most important thing is that your Eternal Dragon is full of power, which is quite good. Thank you, Great Elder. Saying his thanks, Kami said to Lin Chen, "Lin Chen, tell me your wish." Lin Chen nodded and said to Nail first, "Mr. Nail, for my first wish, please tell Purunga to restore planet Tu." Then, he said to Shenron, "Please resurrect the living beings on planet Tu that was destroyed by Frieza." This is why Lin Chen summoned two planets' dragons at the same time. It's not just Han-Asia alone that Lin Chen wants to resurrect, but Purunga cannot resurrect multiple living beings at the same time, so Lin Chen can only use Shenron if he wants to resurrect people. But Shenron can only grant one wish at once, so in order to revive the people on planet Tu must be restored first. So, Lin Chen gathered two planets' Dragon Balls at the same time. When Lin Chen stated his wish, he saw the eyes of Shenron and Purunga lit up one after another. Purunga said first, "Saiyan, thy wish has been granted. Planet Tu has been restored." Then, Shenron also said, "Thy wish has been granted. Saiyan, thank you for letting me meet my brother, then, goodbye." After that, the hovering body of Shenron transformed back into 7 Dragon Balls, and were about to fly to all parts of the planet. But right now they were on planet Namek, so Lin Chen naturally wouldn't let them randomly fly to various parts of the planet, otherwise it would be difficult to bring the Dragon Balls back to Earth. Therefore, before the Dragon Balls flew away, Lin Chen jumped high and caught all the 7 Dragon Balls at once. At this time, on planet Tu, many people stood up from the ground with a confused look on their faces, including Han-Asia and those Saiyans who had already died. Frieza. As soon as she was resurrected, Han-Asia screamed, but then she immediately realized that she seemed to be on planet Tu. Strange. Where are Frieza and the others? Queen Hannah. Near Han-Asia, several Saiyans, who had also just been resurrected, gathered around and asked each other what had happened just now. Many of them remembered that they were supposed to have died already. Hearing their conversation, Han-Asia suddenly remembered that she too seemed to have died. Because that cunning Frieza couldn't defeat her, he suddenly made a move to destroy planet Tu. Then, how did they all survive? And even planet Tu has been restored. At the same time that Han-Asia and the others were feeling puzzled, there were other aliens on the planet who started scrambling to a nearby spaceship and escaped toward space. These aliens were all soldiers of the Frieza force. When they ambushed Saiyans, they had landed on the planet, but weren't led by Frieza along with planet Tu. Now suddenly resurrected, although they don't know what happened, they still recognized the Saiyans beside them. Among them was the female Saiyan, who is a powerful being who beat up King Frieza very badly. If they didn't run now, were they waiting for someone to kill them again? On the other side, planet Namek. Nail said to Lin Chen, "Mr. Lin Chen, your wish has been granted, what is your second wish?" "Second wish? I haven't thought about it yet." Lin Chen smiled embarrassingly. Hearing this, Kami and the others fell to the ground. Speaking of which, Lin Chen's original purpose for summoning Shenron was to resurrect Han-Asia and the others. And because Purunga couldn't revive multiple people at once, he had to summon Shenron too. But apart from the resurrection wish, Lin Chen really hadn't thought about it. What should I wish for? Because he hadn't prepared beforehand, Lin Chen had to think about it now. Got it. Purunga, my second wish, please strengthen Planet Vegeta so that it will not be easily destroyed by external forces. Lin Chen had learned from Han-Asia's experience. Even for a Super Saiyan, sometimes it can be too late to save the planet. Although Frieza is dead now, there are countless unknown and powerful enemies in the universe. It is very likely for planets to explode in the Dragon Ball world. Even someone with only tens of thousands of power level has the ability to destroy a planet. Lin Chen is not afraid of encountering a strong enemy, but he is afraid that someone, in a berserk state, will attack Planet Vegeta in the future while he is not present, directly blowing up the entire planet, which will be disastrous. This is easy, Purunga said in a deafening voice, and his eyes lit up. After a while, Purunga said, the second wish has been granted. The third, and last wish, please state it. Lin Chen, please state your third wish. Nail also said. My third wish is to get Great Elder's unlock potential technique. Lin Chen said out his wish in a loud voice. Lin Chen has coveted this ability for a long time. Although Great Elder's unlock potential ability is not as good as Old Kai's unlock technique which will appear in the future, but it is still very useful in the early stages. With this ability, Lin Chen can improve Saiyans' overall strength. This can also be regarded as compensation for not choosing a task to enhance his forces before. This wish is easy. As Purunga's eyes glowed with red light again, Lin Chen suddenly felt that something had fused into his brain, and then he saw a change in his personal attribute panel. Host, Lin Chen. Power level, 1.36 million. Bloodline, Legendary Super Saiyan Bloodline. Skills, Instant Transmission, Key Control, Beginner Martial Arts Talent, Beginner Unlock Potential Technique. Tricks, Planet Destroying Ball, Death Beam, Killer Ball, Kamehameha, Afterimage Fist. Saiyan, all your wishes have been granted, then goodbye. Saying that, Purunga rose into the sky, retransformed into 7 Dragon Balls, and scattered all over planet Namek. The whole sky became bright again, and the brilliant sunlight shone down on the ground, reflecting a warm and peaceful aura. Seeing his wishes being granted, Lin Chen smiled contentedly as he took out a tree of might's fruit from the system space and handed it to Nail. This is a fruit of tree of might which can improve power level, but its more important function is to strengthen the recovery of vitality and mental strength. You can bring it to the Great Elder as it can increase his lifespan. Lin Chen said. Really? Thanks then. Nail said gratefully. Lin Chen had a hunch in his heart that he might need to use Planet Namek's Dragon Balls again soon, so he gave the Great Elder a tree of might fruit to win over everyone. When Lin Chen was summoning the eternal dragons and fulfilling his wishes, in a corner of the universe, a round spacecraft landed on a planet. The name of this planet is Cold 001. As the name suggests, this place is the headquarters of King Cold, Frieza's father. When the spacecraft landed, a group of aliens immediately surrounded it. People inside the spacecraft immediately come out for inspection. Although this spacecraft had the identification signal of the Frieza Force, because its arrival was completely unannounced, the soldiers of the Cold Force were all on guard. Compared to Frieza Force, Cold Force's people were much better maintained. Soon, the hatch of the spaceship opened, and a purple figure came out. Don't attack. I'm Jinyu from the Frieza Force, the captain of the Jinyu Special Squadron. Captain Jinyu? The aliens were stunned for a moment, but they soon recognized the famous Captain Jinyu. Captain Jinyu, this is King Cold's place. Why is someone from the Frieza Force here? I have urgent news to report to King Cold. King Frieza was killed by someone. Jinyu said with a cold look on his face. Soon after, in King Cold's palace, King Cold, whose appearance was similar to Frieza's second form, heard the bad news of his son's death. Furious, King Cold could hardly control his aura. What? My son Frieza is dead? Sensing that the surrounding air was shaking, Jinyu knelt down on one knee in fear. I'm sorry, King Cold, His Majesty Frieza was killed by Saiyans. The other party seems to be the Super Saiyan from Legends. Cold gave a strong wave of his hand. Super Saiyan? Ridiculous. That's just a legend. That's not a legend. My lord, we met 2 Super Saiyans this time, and one of them could even survive in the vacuum environment, and King Frieza was killed by that Saiyan. What about you? Frieza was killed, then what are you doing? King Cold glared at Jinyu. My lord, I'm sorry, I was on King Frieza's spaceship at the time, and their fight was no longer something we could help with, but my lord, I have a piece of news. Jinyu was going to tell King Cold what he accidentally overheard about Dragon Balls. As long as they find the 7 Dragon Balls, they will be able to resurrect Frieza. However, Jinya's words were not finished yet. Whoosh! And a death beam penetrated through Jinya's body. Cold said with a gloomy look on his face, "Since you couldn't help my son, why are you still alive?" PFFF. Cold Jinyu fell down on the ground, unable to believe that he was going to die just like this. He was clearly here to bring the news that Frieza can be resurrected to King Cold. He is clearly loyal and devoted to the Frost Demon race. Why? Why? King Cold left the place without looking back while throwing an order to his subordinates: "Burn that guy's body." I feel disgusted looking at him. Yes. An alien who looked like a lizard saluted, then it lifted Jinya's corpse and walked towards a place in the palace which is used to burn corpses. But when the alien walked into the incineration chamber with Captain Jinya's corpse, a voice suddenly sounded inside the room. Change. A purple light suddenly lit up in the room, but immediately, everything returned to calm. After a while, the lizard alien came out, but it was wearing the signature smile of Captain Jinyu on its face. He, I won't just die just like that. A few days later, Planet Cold 001. At this time, there is no Captain Jinyu in the world. Everyone thought Captain Jinyu was dead. However, no one knew that the soul of an unknown alien soldier was replaced by Captain Jinyu, who died that day. The real Captain Jinyu, at this moment, was drinking by himself in a bar with a new identity. Jinyu has not been able to calm down until now, since even though he loyally came to report to Cold, he was mercilessly killed by him. After all, he had always been proud of being a member of the Frieza force, but he never thought that his pride and loyalty would instead almost invite disaster to him. Damn it, King Cold. I fully devoted myself to you Frost Demons, and I have been so respectful, but this is how you thank me in return. If I hadn't switched bodies, I'd already be dead. Your stupid son clearly died because of his own idiocy, but you blamed me. I can't take it lying down. Jinyu smashed the wine table in front of him with a punch, but at this time, a muscular alien came over and lifted Jinyu in the air. Hey! Boy! How dare you smash things in the bar? Hurry up and pay for it, or you will die. Bah! Jinyu spat at him dismissively. But he had forgotten that he was no longer Captain Jinyu with a power level of 120,000. The scouter on the face of the alien beeped a few times, and then he sneered, "Ha ha ha, an idiot with only 5,000 power level, but acting so arrogant." After saying that, the other party clutched Jinyu's head and walked towards the back alley of the bar. The people in the bar were not surprised by this. This is King Cold's territory. The weak are the prey of the strong, and the strong are respected, which is the basic law here. But a moment later, there was a voice in the back alley of the bar. Change. A purple light flashed. Soon, the muscular alien walked out of the alley. But at this time, Jinyu's soul has taken over the body of this alien. Just 10,000 power level. Such a little power level, what a trash. Jinyu spat in disdain. At the same time, a thought kept growing in his mind because of this conflict. I can't go on like this, I need a more powerful body, I want to get stronger. I won't let my life be controlled by others. I want. Suddenly, Jinyu froze in place, his eyes fixed on the huge statue in front of him. It was the statue of King Cold. Jinyu's eyes gradually became cold, and he smiled evilly, "Ha ha ha, I actually forgot. For me, isn't the best body right in front of me? King Cold. You betrayed me and humiliated me. If I snatched away your body, you deserve it. Ha 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 ha." Soon, on the planet Cold 001, mysterious attacks caused a lot of commotion. The experts of Cold Force were continuously being attacked and killed on the planet. These attacks are very strange, because from the corpse, the deceased were killed at close range, and the strange thing was that there were no traces of resistance on the bodies of the deceased. Because there were more and more deceased, and the power level of the people dying was also increasing, for a time, people on the entire planet were panicking. King Cold, who was angry at the death of his son, became furious when he knew about it. A bunch of trash. The intruder must be someone with a high power level, use Scouter to find him. Yes. Under King Cold's order, the entire Cold Force was dispatched to hunt down suspicious people on the planet. As long as they were not from the Cold Force and whose power level was higher than 10,000, they were all imprisoned as suspicious people and subjected to interrogation. Even so, the murderer hadn't been identified. One day, after listening to the report and knowing that the murderer was still unknown, Cold became furious again, leaving all his subordinates absolutely quiet. "I'll give you 3 more days. If you can't find the murderer within 3 days, you all can go die." Yes, yes. Just as Cold's men left in a hurry, one of his personal bodyguards who had left suddenly returned. "King Cold, I actually have something to report." "Huh?" King Cold frowned slightly, but then a smile appeared on his face. "Okay, tell me about it." The personal bodyguard stepped forward, looked at the attendants around them who were guarding the room, lowered his head and said, "Your Majesty, I probably know the true identity of the murderer." "Oh. Tell me about it." "Your Majesty, can you let them go out first? I want to tell you the identity of this person alone." Hearing his words, King Cold lightly waved his hand. His attendants immediately lined up outside the room and closed the door. "Can you say it now? Who is the murderer?" Cold said. "The murderer is me." As soon as the guard's voice fell, he suddenly rushed over and threw an energy bomb at King Cold. Boom! The place where King Cold was standing suddenly exploded. The shock waves from the explosion spread out in all directions, making everyone in Cold's palace detect it. The attendants outside the door were also the first to notice that the explosion happened in King Cold's room. They yelled and tried to open the room, only to find that the door was locked from inside. "Hurry up! Quickly find a way to open the door." Just as these attendants were hurrying about, the bodyguard in the room, whose body had been occupied by Captain Jinyu, rushed towards the thick smoke. Although he knew that a single energy bomb couldn't hurt King Cold at all, he still rushed over. The next moment, Jinyu's neck was grabbed by King Cold from behind the smoke. "Ho ho!" King Cold sneered, "I didn't expect that the king's personal bodyguard was the murderer." "What the hell were you thinking? You want to attack this king?" "What was I thinking?" Jinyu smiled, "I just wanted to get closer to you." King Cold's expression suddenly changed. The next moment, he saw the guy who was caught by him, suddenly open his mouth and shout, "Change." Hearing this sentence, a guy who should have died instantly appeared in King Cold's mind. He vaguely remembered, as if his son had mentioned this person to him. "Dad, I recently discovered a very interesting thing. The race this guy belongs to is a rare race in the universe. They themselves don't have much power level, but they can swap bodies with other living beings. Before I met this guy, he had already swapped bodies with dozens of living beings. I didn't expect that there would be such an interesting guy in the universe. I have already planned to make him the captain and set up a special squadron. Cooler has a cooler armored squadron. I also want to have a special squadron." "Oh. That's a bit interesting. What's this person's name?" "Jinyu." "Jinyu. So this person is Jinyu." "Ah." Bang. When they heard King Cold scream from the room, the guards outside didn't dare to delay any longer, and immediately smashed the door of the room with blaster waves. King Cold. When they rushed into the room, what they saw was King Cold holding a bodyguard in his hand. It's just that the bodyguard's head was twisted to the side, clearly dead. King Cold, he. You good-for-nothings. He is the murderer of the recent series of attacks. King Cold threw the body on the ground, "Clean up the scene and burn this guy's body." After saying that, King Cold walked out of the room. Yes. All the attendants knelt on the ground and watched King Cold leave. Then they looked at the corpse on the ground and said in slight surprise, "This guy isn't the king's personal bodyguard, how could he have the guts to attack his majesty?" "I don't know, maybe he was crazy. He was the personal bodyguard, but he still didn't know how terrifying King Cold is. What a fool." These attendants didn't know that the King Cold they were talking about was actually the corpse on the ground. And the person who had just walked out was actually Jinyu, who had already taken over King Cold's body. When Jinyu returned to King Cold's personal room and closed the door, he finally couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha. Power. I can feel the power. Is this the body of a frost demon? The power in this body is surging and overflowing, as if about to explode. By the way, frost demons can also transform. King Cold, like Frieza, has always been suppressing his power. If I transform again, won't I be invincible in the world? Suddenly, Jinyu calmed down. No, I'm not invincible yet. Even if I transform into final form, I'm afraid I won't be the match of the Super Saiyan. Get stronger. I still need to get stronger. I should continue to train this body, it still has a lot of potential to develop. That's right. And those Dragon Balls. I will use them to live forever, as long as I can live forever, plus with the body of this frost demon. I, Captain Jinyu, will rule the entire universe. Just wait, Saiyan. When I surpass the limits of the frost demons, I will come look for you. The most powerful emperor in the universe will neither be Frieza nor you Saiyan, but it will be me Jinyu. Jocko. Does that Zuno or whatever really knows everything? Of course. Master Zuno is the most awesome person in the entire universe. His knowledge may be even greater than that eternal dragon of yours. Jocko said while driving the spaceship. At this time, Lin Chen and Tights were on Jocko's spaceship. Their goal is a mysterious planet somewhere in the universe. On this planet, there lives a mysterious person called Zuno. Based on Lin Chen's memory, this Zuno is a mysterious person who knows everything in the world. And the reason why he is looking for Zuno was to know how to travel to a parallel universe. So after returning to Earth, Lin Chen asked Tights to contact Jocko for him. Although he has instant transmission, he doesn't know the location of Zuno's planet, so he can only let Jocko lead the way. As for Tights, after hearing about Zuno, she also wanted to go see him. Is there anything more interesting than an omniscient alien? Originally, Bulma was also clamoring to come, but Lin Chen knew the little girl's true thoughts and refused directly. Zuno's planet is quite far away from Earth, and everyone has been flying for quite a few hours, so they were gradually beginning to lose patience. Jocko, how much longer would it take to arrive? Tights asked, feeling bored. 2 more hours. Jocko estimated. What? 2 hours? Your spaceship is too slow. Lin Chen's instant transmission is more convenient. Hearing Tights' words, Jocko was unhappy. Please. This spaceship was rewarded to me by Galactic King for the Battle of Planet Tiu. I exchanged my life for it. Ah. Planet Tiu. I heard about it from Lin Chen. So, Jocko, you died at that Titan T. Hey, what is the world like after death? Tell me. Tights asked curiously. I don't know. Jaden turned away his head and said. Tights quickly grabbed his shoulder and asked, Don't be petty, tell me, I can use it in my new book. Jocko wondered, new book? Is Galactic Patrol Jocko finished? It's finished. Now the new book I'm serializing is called My Saiyan Boyfriend, and it is currently #1 bestseller among the new books, which is much better than Galactic Patrol Jocko. Humph. Then I won't say it. Jocko turned away his head again and pouted. As the two of them talked like they were doing a crosstalk, they finally arrived at Zuno's planet. Like Zuno, his planet is also somewhat mysterious. The planet is not big, only a few times larger than North Kai's planet, and it looks like a planet wrapped in a huge wooden box. The surface of the planet was colorful, with only Zuno's palace on it. Zuno's palace was full of Japanese style, but there was a huge escalator in front of the palace, which gave the whole palace a weird feeling. The three of them took the escalator to the passageway in front of the palace, and saw a long queue in front of them. As soon as the three of them came to a stop, several aliens who looked like samurai came over, holding a small notebook in their hands. Seeing these samurais, Tights asked, "Huh? These guys look so strange, is someone among them Zuno?" "None of us is Zuno. We are attendants who serve Master Zuno." The samurai aliens spoke in unison. Then, they surrounded Lin Chen and others. "Master Zuno said that uninvited visitors have arrived, so we came over to check." "Uninvited visitors?" Tights wondered. "Yes, Master Zuno does not see anyone without an appointment," said one of the attendants. "Ah. Jocko. Why didn't you tell us?" Tights said furiously to Jocko. After flying for a few hours, they still couldn't see him. Anyone in their place would be angry. Jocko was also dumbfounded. It is the first time he has come to Zuno's planet, so he hasn't known about this kind of rule. At this time, the attendant opened the small notebook in his hand and said, "If you make an appointment now, you have to wait for 5 years, how about it? Do you want to make an appointment?" 5 years? Hearing this, Jocko had no choice but to say embarrassedly, "That Galactic Patrolman, can you make an exception?" "No." Zuno's attendant refused without the slightest hesitation. "What should we do?" Jocko was at his wit's end. "It's simple." Lin Chen smiled and stood up, "I have an appointment, let me see Zuno." "You?" Zuno's attendant was stunned for a moment, then he flipped through the book. "What's your name?" "I'll check it." "Lin Chen." "My Saiyan name is Lynx." "Lin Chen." "Lynx." After checking it carefully, the attendant said regretfully, "Sorry, you are not on the appointment list." Before he could finish his words, he noticed a golden light shine in front of him. The next moment, Lin Chen transformed into Super Saiyan, and then shot an energy wave out of the passageway. "It's ridiculous, Zuno's planet is protected by the powers of Master Zuno, you can't do any damage to the planet." Rumble. The energy wave slammed into a forest in the distance, penetrated through the ground, and came straight out from the other end of Zuno's planet. On seeing this, all the guards and the visitors' eyes widened. "Excuse me, have you found my name?" Checking. "Lin Chen, right? Please come in." The visitors who were lined up immediately moved to both sides, making way for Lin Chen. "Let's go." Lin Chen didn't transform back to normal state, and just like that with blonde hair, he walked towards the depths of the passageway. Tights was about Dontalo, but Jocko pulled her back. "Tights, that's Super Saiyan." Tights replied, "Yeah. Don't you think it's cool? His hair can even turn blonde." Lin Chen also said that it can turn yellow-green, red, and blue in the future. After saying that, she glanced at Jocko and said, "You wouldn't arrest him just because he destroyed a little, right?" Jocko hurriedly shook his head, "How can it be? Aren't we companions?" Ha ha ha. Soon, everyone arrived inside a hall in the depths of the building, and saw a man who looked like a Japanese samurai sitting on a bull-like flying vehicle. "He is the owner of this planet, Master Zuno." Beside Zuno, an attendant was whispering something to him, apparently reporting what had just happened outside. When Lin Chen walked in, Zuno immediately said with a straight face, "Are you the one who broke the rules and charged in?" "Why, any problem?" Lin Chen asked. Zuno didn't answer, instead looked ahead with a mysterious look. At this time, another attendant standing beside Zuno said, "Please make a tribute." In fact, Zuno's tribute requirements are very low. A kiss is enough to answer a question. If it is a beautiful woman, she may even ask more questions. But Lin Chen is the dignified king of Saiyans, how could he do such an undignified thing? What tribute? Is it this? Lin Chen raised a finger and condensed a death ball. This is one of Frieza's strongest moves, which has enough power to easily destroy a planet. As a person with mysterious powers, Zuno naturally immediately understood the power contained in this move and nodded in panic. It's sufficient, sufficient. You can ask 1 no, 3 no, you can ask as many questions as you want. Very good. Lin Chen flicked his hand and extinguished the death ball. Then listen up, my question is, how do I travel to a parallel universe? Zuno coughed and began to explain like chanting a scripture. To travel to a parallel universe, there are following methods. The first one is to use a time machine. In theory, a time machine does not actually exist. Every time you use a time machine, you are in fact traveling to a parallel universe. The second one is to become Supreme Kai and use the Supreme Kai's dedicated time ring. When the world produces a different parallel universe, a green time ring will be born, and you can use the corresponding rings to go to different parallel universes. Before Zuno could finish speaking, Lin Chen interrupted, wait. Zuno, what I want to know is how to get to a specific parallel universe. Lin Chen realized that he might have asked the wrong question, and Zuno's answer was not what he wanted to know. In the parallel universe I want to go to, there is a legendary Super Saiyan who has conquered the entire South area. I want to know how to get to that universe. Zuno was stunned for a moment before replying, is the legendary Super Saiyan in that universe you are talking about called Broly? You know this as well? Lin Chen was somewhat surprised and in disbelief. He didn't expect Zuno to know even this. Of course I know, my extensive knowledge is because I have a special ability similar to divination. As long as it exists in the world, there is nothing I don't know about. Zuno replied. Amazing. Lin Chen was really in admiration of this funny-looking guy. Then can you answer my question? Of course. There are 2 ways to go to the universe you mentioned. The first is with the help of Supreme Kai of Time Kranoa. Supreme Kai of Time is the Supreme Kai who is in charge of all parallel universes. She has the ability to observe and freely enter all parallel universes. But by the way, Supreme Kai of Time is detached from all universes and is independent of Zenith's control. Unless the Supreme Kai of Time takes the initiative to summon, it is impossible for mortals to meet her. Lin Chen then asked, what about the second method? The second method. Zuno had just opened his mouth when he suddenly froze, and his body began to twitch non-stop. It was the first time that Zuno's bodyguards had seen Zuno like this. They rushed over in panic, but at this moment, Zuno raised his hand, indicating them not to approach. The second method is to find the Temple's medal. Temple's medal? What is that? Lin Chen asked. This is an extremely rare metal in the universe, also known as Metal of Time. Supreme Kai's time ring is made of this metal. By the way, this metal has completely disappeared in our universe. It doesn't matter, I can look for eternal dragons to transmute it, and then? What should I do after finding this metal? Lin Chen continued to ask. Zuno said in reply, having Metal of Time is the first step. Next, you need to bring Metal of Time to a place where space-time is abundant, that is, space-time energy has to be poured into the Metal of Time. That. Without waiting for Lin Chen to ask, Zuno said, black hole is a place where space-time is abundant. To pour space-time energy into Metal of Time, you've to throw the Metal of Time into the black hole. That's it? Lin Chen frowned. Why does this method sound unreliable? Zuno nodded and said, yes, that's it. But in fact, doing so can only open a space-time door, and you can't control the universe that the space-time door leads to. However, Zuno suddenly said solemnly, my ability tells me that if a Saiyan named Lynx does this, he can open the way to the specified universe. Me? Lin Chen was a little surprised. How can he open the way to a specific universe? Hey! Are you talking nonsense again? Brother Lin Chen doesn't have superpower, how could he do that? Tights yelled from the side. Zuno didn't even look at her, you don't have a tribute, you can't ask questions. What? You damned fatty, I woo woo woo. Before Tights could finish speaking, Jocko covered her mouth. Please, you are not Lin Chen, how can you speak to Master Zuno like this? Zuno said, if it is not someone with the same name, it is you. You have a special power in you, as long as you go to the black hole with Metal of Time, you can open the path to a specific universe. Could it be? Lin Chen's eyes narrowed slightly, and he somewhat understands what Zuno means. The special power that Zuno was talking about was probably referring to the system in his body. In other words, as long as he takes Metal of Time to a black hole, his system might help him travel to the universe where another Broly is? System, is that what you meant? Lin Chen quietly asked in his mind. Ding. Replying to host, system prohibits the disclosure of relevant information before the new function meets the activation conditions. It's indirectly admitting. Lin Chen smiled and said, okay, I see, thank you. After that, Lin Chen was ready to leave. But when he had just turned around, he suddenly thought of one more thing. He turned back and asked, by the way, is there any way I can get powerful enough to rival a god of destruction in a short period of time? You've used up your chances to ask questions, Zuno said habitually, but he quickly saw an energy ball appear above Lin Chen's finger. The first method is to receive training from angels. Their training can make you get stronger quickly. The second method, no, you can only obtain such strength by training. No one has ever obtained it in one step. Zuno closed his eyes and sighed with emotion, then he suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Lin Chen. No, if it is you, there might be a way to obtain it in one step. You really know everything. Lin Chen smiled, then turned to Tights and Jocko and said, let's go. Let's go back to Earth. Seeing Lin Chen and the others disappear, the omniscient Zuno breathed a sigh of relief. His attendant said angrily, Master Zuno, what background does that Saiyan have? Shall we ask Supreme Kai to deal with him? Forget it. He's not someone we can deal with, and not even Supreme Kai can. Afterwards, Zuno solemnly told his attendants to close the door, and decline visitors for today. After returning from Zuno's planet, Lin Chen began to prepare for his journey to another universe. Although Metal of Time temples, as Zuno said, no longer exists in this world, Lin Chen knows that as long as he summons the eternal dragons, he can definitely get a block of it. However, the eternal dragons of the two planets had just been used not long ago. If Lin Chen wanted to use them again, he would have to wait 130 days at the earliest to make a wish on planet Namekians. Although he has to wait for 130 days, these 130 days are just right for Lin Chen. After all, he is going to another parallel universe. Although Lin Chen is able to transform into Super Saiyan, he does not dare to guarantee that he will be able to return safely. 130 days is just enough time for good training. So, in the following period, Lin Chen was training on both Earth and Planet Vegeta. Sometimes, he would train in Earth's 500 times gravity chamber, and sometimes, he would fight with Han Asia as Super Saiyans. However, he felt that this kind of training was still not enough. After all, what he is going to face this time is the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, who has the same bloodline as him. This Broly and the Broly that he knows, although they look similar, are two completely different people. Almost all of Saiyan's negative emotions were gathered on him, and because of the side effects of his bloodline, that Broly had nearly lost his rationality very early on and only knows fighting and killing. From what he remembers of the storyline, Goku and the others had gathered the power of 4 Super Saiyans, but they were unable to defeat the powerful Broly. In the end, they relied on all the Z warriors to concentrate all their ki on Goku to defeat him with difficulty. Lin Chen is very clear that with his current state, let alone those 4 Super Saiyans at the same time, even if he has to deal with 4 Hanasias at the same time, it will be quite difficult. If he can't improve his strength as soon as possible, when he goes to the parallel universe, he will most likely meet a bad end. Time passed, and there was not much time left until the Dragon Balls of planet Namex will recover, but Lin Chen felt that he was still a little lacking. Compared with more than 100 days ago, his power level may have indeed improved, but this speed of improvement is far from enough for the difficulties he will face. Furthermore, Hanasia also lacks talent in combat. She was already weaker than Lin Chen in power level, so she could not give Lin Chen any new inspiration when he fought with her. Should I fight around with Broly of this world? A thought suddenly appeared in Lin Chen's mind. Although the powerful enemy he will face in the future is Broly from another world, there is also Broly in this world. If he fights against the Broly in this world, maybe it would give him some help when he fights against another Broly. Thinking of this, Lin Chen immediately went to Lookout, met Broly, and put forward his suggestion. Brother Lynx, do you want to have a fight with me? Yes. I may face a strong enemy soon, so I hope to improve my strength. Hanasia can't help me anymore, so I thought of you. Lin Chen happily looked at Broly in front of him. Although Broly was suppressing his aura and he could only see 5,000 power level via Scouter. But with his system, he can clearly see that Broly's power level at this time has reached 1.2 million. Lin Chen knows that Broly has never trained since he was born, but he already has a power level of 1.2 million. As expected of the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. Broly's legendary Super Saiyan bloodline is somewhat different from Lin Chen's. If using the setting of the Dragon Ball world, Broly's bloodline is Dragon Ball Super's legendary Super Saiyan bloodline, while Lin Chen's bloodline is from the movie Dragon Ball Z, Broly the legendary Super Saiyan. In terms of power level increase, Broly's bloodline is far stronger than Lin Chen's legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. So, if he can fight Broly, it will definitely help him. However, to Lin Chen's dawn tries, Broly was a little resistant after knowing what Lin Chen meant. Brother Lynx, I don't want to fight, even if it's you. Broly, well, just be training. Brother Lynx, have you forgotten why I came to Earth in the first place? Lin Chen was suddenly at a loss for words. Indeed, when Lin Chen brought Broly to Earth, wasn't it just to avoid the daily challenge requests of those Saiyans on Planet Vegeta? In the end, now Lin Chen is also like those people and wants to fight Broly. If so, isn't he the same as those people? Sorry Broly, I didn't consider your feelings. Realizing his mistake, Lin Chen immediately apologized. But immediately afterwards, he felt troubled. If he couldn't fight Broly, how is going to improve his strength? Lin Chen, if you want to improve your strength, I may have a way to help you. Just when Lin Chen was feeling troubled, a voice spoke from the side. Lin Chen turned around to look and saw that it was Kami who spoke. Kami? You can help me? It's not me, it's Mr. Popo. Kami said with a smile. Mr. Popo? Lin Chen turned to look on the side, but could hardly see any expression on Popo's face. He can help me. Popo's coin-like pupils were calm as he stared at Lin Chen expressionlessly. Since Kami is saying so, Popo is wildened to give you some pointers. What pointers do you plan to give? Mr. Popo, by the way, I don't have much time here. Lin Chen didn't immediately refuse. Although on the surface, he didn't know what Mr. Popo could teach him with his mere several hundred power level, but he knows that Mr. Popo is definitely not so simple. Perhaps, he can really teach me something. Popo roughly knows about your strength and that conventional methods won't help you. Popo intends to give you pointers on something else. As for the issue of time, Popo will bring you to a place. Kami, is it okay? Popo turned to Kami and asked. Kami nodded and said, Mr. Popo, are you going there? Well, you can take Mr. Lin Chen there. Okay. On the other hand, Broly also apologized to Lin Chen. I'm sorry, Brother Lynx. I couldn't help you this time. It's okay, Broly. You're a good boy, and fighting is really not for you. Lin Chen doesn't know if it's a blessing or a curse for a combat genius to become like this, but at least Broly wants this kind of life the most. Then, Lin Chen followed Mr. Popo all the way into the depths of Lookout. He followed behind Popo, went around several corridors, and steadily headed towards the bottom of the temple. At this time, Lin Chen had already realized where Popo wanted to take him. "Mr. Popo, are you taking me to the hyperbolic time chamber?" "You know about the hyperbolic time chamber?" Popo turned around and asked, but his face was still calm. "Yes, I actually have one too on Planet Vegeta. Lin Chen has placed the hyperbolic time chamber on Planet Vegeta so that those young Saiyans with potential can train in it. The gravity inside the hyperbolic time chamber is nothing compared to Planet Vegeta, but the empty and vast space inside is a great test for people's mental will, and is a suitable place for those young Saiyans to train their will." Hearing that Lin Chen even had a hyperbolic time chamber, Mr. Popo's face finally showed a hint of surprise, but he just opened his mouth and didn't say anything while continuing to lead the way. Finally, after walking a long circle, the two of them arrived in front of a golden gate at the bottom of the temple. "We're here." Popo pushed open the door. "Since you know about the hyperbolic time chamber, Popo won't explain much. A year in the hyperbolic time chamber is just one day outside. Well, train here, so it shouldn't waste your time, right?" "Not at all." Lin Chen walked in with a smile. Soon, a vast white space with hot and dry temperature, low air pressure and 10 times the gravity, appeared in front of them. Without wasting time, Lin Chen quickly began to train under Popo's guidance. And only then did he understand what Kami meant. What Mr. Popo wants to give guidance in is key control. "Mr. Lin Chen, although you have powerful strength, your use of this strength is terrible. If you exert your full strength now, you can easily destroy a planet, right?" Mr. Popo asked. "That's right." Lin Chen nodded. "That's why whenever he wants to fight with Han-Asia, he could only do it on Planet Vegeta because the planet has been reinforced by him with the help of Dragon Balls. If it were not Planet Vegeta, and if it was another planet, Lin Chen and Hannah might have accidentally blown up the planet if they hadn't fought without reining themselves in. This is because you can't perfectly control your strength. A true expert, even if they have the power to destroy the world, they can still prevent their power from endangering others," said Mr. Popo. Lin Chen nodded and agreed. He remembered that in Dragon Ball Super, God of Destruction Beerus had once fought on Earth. With Beerus' strength, a top expert who can destroy the planet with a snap of his fingers, he did not damage Earth in the slightest even after fighting for a long time on Earth. In fact, in the later stages of Dragon Ball Stunt, some people believe that the power system of the Dragon Ball had collapsed, but they don't know that this is actually because top experts can basically perfectly control their power. In the early stages of the story, things like tearing the land and penetrating through the planet could have been avoided by these experts. Mr. Popo continued, "Popo has heard Broly say that your training style has always been focused on power and physical body. It's indeed useful for short-term strength improvement, but to get stronger, relying solely on power and physical body is not enough. So next, Popo will teach you key control, you better listen carefully." Lin Chen nodded. It was only now when he heard what Popo said that he understood why he felt as if he had encountered a bottleneck in the past. It turned out to be because of his key control and his inability to keep up with his body and power. It's like Lin Chen has a powerful weapon in his hand, but his body can't keep up with the weapon and he can't use the weapon skillfully. If he hadn't listened to what Mr. Popo said today, he probably wouldn't have known what his problem was. Just for these words, it was worth it to follow Mr. Popo into the time chamber. But that's not the only thing that surprised Lin Chen. Shortly afterwards, Mr. Popo has Lin Chen transform into Super Saiyan, and then practice with him in this state. "Mr. Popo, are you sure? You might die from my punch," Lin Chen couldn't help asking. "You can try, in fact Popo is really powerful," Mr. Popo said. Hearing this, Lin Chen thought of the original story of Dragon Ball. It seems that Mr. Popo has indeed had the experience of training with Super Saiyans. Although it was only with a child, he was still a Super Saiyan. Thinking of this, Lin Chen smiled slightly. Okay, Mr. Popo, then here I come. Whoosh! The next moment, Lin Chen's figure appeared right in front of Mr. Popo, his right fist smashing towards Popo's face. Out of caution, Lin Chen only used 5% of his strength in this punch, but he had increased his speed to the limit. But the weird thing is that Mr. Popo easily dodged Lin Chen's seemingly sure-to-kill punch with a tilt of his neck. What? Lin Chen was taken aback. Here, your punches are too clumsy. And here, you are making unnecessary movements. Your real attacks must be efficient. And here, all of these are superfluous, you should restrain your ki when attacking. If you attack like this, before the enemy is dead, you will exhaust your ki first. Control your heart and sense the flow of aura. Popo's strength is really unfathomable. Lin Chen could clearly not sense any strong aura from him, but Lin Chen, who was in Super Saiyan state, couldn't even touch Mr. Popo's body. And when Mr. Popo was dodging Lin Chen's attacks, he still had the time to give pointers while observing Lin Chen's movements. This calmness and composure was making Lin Chen lose his mind. How exactly is he doing it? Lin Chen swept his leg out, but was easily dodged by Mr. Popo. Just as he was about to continue chasing, Mr. Popo raised his hand and said, "Mr. Lin Chen, your mind is in a mess. Stop for a moment and adjust your emotions." Lin Chen gasped for breath as he looked at Popo and asked, "Mr. Popo, who are you?" Popo said he is very strong, didn't he? Lin Chen watched Popo and couldn't help but use his system's function. System, what is Mr. Popo's power level? Soon, Lin Chen saw Mr. Popo's attribute panel. Popo. Power level, 1000. 1000? Are you kidding? With more than 1 million power level in normal state, how could he not even be able to fight him whose power level was only 1000? At this moment, a light flashed across Lin Chen's mind. Mr. Popo, are you an angel? Angels are the masters, servants, attendants and supervisors of the god of destruction. The strength that Mr. Popo is showing at the moment, in Lin Chen's view, the only explanation that makes sense is that he is an angel. However, when Mr. Popo heard his words, his expression did not change at all. Angel? What is that? Seeing this, Lin Chen didn't ask any further questions. If Mr. Popo is really someone at the level of an angel, he must be hiding some big secret. With Lin Chen's current strength, it's better not to take the initiative to provoke him. Next, under Popo's guidance, Lin Chen constantly adjusted his control of ki, trying his best to achieve a state where he could control it easily and skillfully. Time flies. Soon, it will be almost 1 year since Lin Chen has been staying in the hyperbolic time chamber. In 1 year, although Lin Chen's power level did not grow by leaps and bounds, his temperament gradually became a little different. At this time, only 1 day has passed since Lin Chen entered the hyperbolic time chamber. Lookout was as peaceful as ever. Broly was sitting cross-legged on the border of the lookout, watching the world below. This is an ability that only Kami can have, but Broly has already learned it during his days on lookout. When he was usually bored, he would use this ability to observe the lower realms and pass the time. Suddenly, Broly's expression slightly changed. He stood up, and muttered to himself, "This key, it's Brother Link's. Has he come out?" Sure enough, Lin Chen and Mr. Popo walked out of the entrance of the temple not long after. After receiving this news, Kami rushed over and couldn't help but say after sensing Lin Chen's aura, "Your strength hasn't changed much, but your aura is much stabler than before." Yeah, it's all thanks to Mr. Popo. After saying that, Lin Chen turned towards Popo and gave Danta bow. "Mr. Popo, thank you for your guidance this year. You still have a long way to go, don't forget that strength is not everything," Mr. Popo said. Lin Chen nodded, and after saying goodbye to Broly, he performed instant transmission and returned to the lower realm to make final preparations for his departure. At this time, Lin Chen's attribute panel has changed. Host, Lin Chen. Power level, 1.56 million. Bloodline, Legendary Super Saiyan Bloodline. Skills, Instant Transmission, Beginner Martial Arts Talent, Beginner Unlock Potential, Perfect Key Control. Techniques, Planet Destroying Ball, Death Beam, Killer Ball, Kamehameha, Afterimage Fist, Instant Kamehameha. In 1 year, besides his power level increasing to 300,000, Lin Chen's biggest gain is one skill. The previous key control skill has changed into perfect key control. Although there is only one more word, Lin Chen knows that just this one word has increased his true strength by a full 30%. Now, Planet Namek's Dragon Ball has almost recovered, and it's time for him to prepare to carry out the system's task. But after all, he is going to a parallel universe and he didn't know how long he would be there. Some things had to be arranged. Whether it was Tights and others or Planet Vegeta, Lin Chen has to make arrangements for them. By the time he was done with everything, 3 more days had passed. Planet Namek, with the sound of a low roar, black clouds floated over from the horizon and Planet Namek, which doesn't have night, fell into darkness. Then, amidst the sounds of lightning and thunder, the huge body of eternal dragon Purunga appeared in the sky. The person who has gathered the Dragon Balls, state thy wish. Purunga's voice resounded between heaven and earth. Okay, Lin Chen, state your wish. Nail said to Lin Chen. Lin Chen nodded and told his wish, I hope to get Medal of Time Temples. When Nail translated Lin Chen's words, Purunga was silent for a moment before he said, Medal of Time Temples is a medal that only Supreme Kai can use. What are you going to do with it? I have my own use for it, can you transmute it? Lin Chen responded. Purunga said loudly, yes, but Medal of Time is an item of gods. To get it, you have to use up the 3 wishes. 3 wishes? Okay. Lin Chen summoned the Eternal Dragon this time for nothing else except Medal of Time. It's fine if it's using 3 wishes. The next moment, an unremarkable piece of silver metal appeared in front of Lin Chen. Although it looked unremarkable, when Lin Chen picked up this piece of metal, he could feel a strange power from it. This power was a bit weird. Lin Chen didn't dare to touch it for too long, so he wanted to throw the metal into his system space. However, as Medal of Time was about to enter the system space, it suddenly popped out by itself. Medal of Time and Lin Chen's system space were surprisingly repelling each other. Is it because the space-time power in the metal is incompatible with the system space? Lin Chen thought for a while, but he could only take out a box and put the piece of metal in the box and carry it in his hand. Nail, I'm leaving. This time I'm going to a faraway place. If Planet Namek has any pressing matters, you can contact Planet Vegeta. After saying that, Lin Chen performed instant transmission and left Planet Namek. In the universe, black holes are actually not rare. These things that cannot be detected by the naked eyes are like traps in the universe. Every race that has mastered the ability to travel through the universe puts emphasis on putting their coordinates on interstellar charts. After getting Medal of Time, Lin Chen's next destination was Planet Vegeta. He didn't stay for much longer there. After confirming the location of the black hole closest to Planet Vegeta, he performed instant transmission and arrived in the starry sky near the black hole. Even he, who can transform into a Super Saiyan, couldn't resist the power of a black hole, so the place where he teleported to was far away from the black hole. As soon as he left the instant transmission state, Lin Chen immediately transformed into Super Saiyan, and at the same time covered his body with an energy layer to protect himself. Black hole ice over there. With only a simple sweep of his senses, he found the trace of the black hole. In that direction, he could not sense anything. Black holes attract all matter, including energy, so as long as he finds a place where he can't sense anything, that's naturally where the black hole is. After flying for an hour, Lin Chen could gradually feel the astonishing gravitational force of the black hole. If he continued to move forward, it might be dangerous. So, he stopped and according to Zuno's information, took out the Metal of Time. Throwing Metal of Time into a black hole can open the spacetime door, and my system can control the destination of the spacetime door. Lin Chen muttered, hesitating a little before throwing the Metal of Time in the direction of the black hole. I hope that Zuno didn't lie to me, otherwise I'll make sure to teach him a good lesson. Under his gaze, this precious metal that has disappeared from the universe slowly drifted towards the depths of the black hole. Suddenly, a sparkling light rose from the piece of metal, and shortly afterwards, he saw the Metal of Time, which was originally a metal block, bend because of the powerful gravitational pull as strange lines appeared. After a while, the Metal of Time seemed to be unable to withstand it, and it shattered under the pull of gravity before disappearing. The piece of Metal of Time that I spent 3 wishes to get, is gone just like this? Lin Chen was about to shout abuses at Zuno for being unreliable, when suddenly he saw a blood-red space crack like mouth of a ferocious beast appearing where Metal of Time had just disappeared. The crack kept getting bigger and bigger, extending until a huge tear appeared, just enough for Lin Chen to pass through. Could this be the spacetime door? Lin Chen was trying to confirm it when a voice sounded in his mind. Ding! Confirming that the spacetime door has appeared, activating the spacetime traveling function. Please spend time points to choose your destination. Sure enough, everything is as Zuno said. A new function appeared in the system when the spacetime door opened. Moreover, listening to the prompt, it seems this new function allows him to choose the world he wants to go to. But, system, what are time points? Ding! Replying to the host's trip to the parallel universe will interfere with its timeline. In order to offset the impact of the interference on timeline, the system needs to consume a special kind of energy, which is time points. As long as the host corrects the history of the current timeline, time points can be obtained. Lin Chen frowned, correct the history of the current timeline? What does this mean? However, this time system did not answer, but gave Lin Chen a countdown. Ding! Reminding the host that the newly formed spacetime door is not stable. Please consume time points to confirm the destination within an hour, otherwise the spacetime door will be closed. What? Seeing the countdown in front of him, Lin Chen scratched his head. This system seems to like making trouble. If it knew it had such a function, couldn't it tell me in advance? Giving me just an hour, where can I get the time points? Wait a minute. Lin Chen's eyes suddenly froze, and the next moment, he performed instant transmission and returned to Lookout on Earth. On Lookout, Kami was observing down below when he suddenly sensed Lin Chen's aura behind him. He turned around his head in surprise and asked, Mr. Lin Chen. Why are you back again? Lin Chen waved his hand and said, let's not talk about that. Kami, where are the Dragon Balls you got when we returned from Planet Namek last time? Dragon Balls? I have already put them away. I created them to provide the world with a power to fulfill their dreams, but human beings. Okay. Quickly take them out for me. Lin Chen said hurriedly with a serious tone, which startled Kami. Oh. Seeing this, Kami had no choice but to ask Mr. Popo to take out the Dragon Balls, but the Dragon Balls at this moment were still stone. Lin Chen frowned and asked, Kami, can you tell me the number of stars corresponding to these stones? Sure, this is the 1-star bead, this is the 2-star bead, this is. Lin Chen noted them down one by one in his heart, then picked up all the beads and threw them into his system space. Kami, I'll send these Dragon Balls to the lower realm, goodbye. After saying that, in front of Kami and Mr. Popo's eyes, Lin Chen again disappeared. Looking at Lin Chen who came and went like the wind, Kami was a little dumbfounded. Mr. Popo, what is Lin Chen up to? Mr. Popo said, Kami, it seems Lin Chen wants to return the Dragon Balls to the lower realm. At this moment, on Mount Paozu, Lin Chen appeared in Goku's house. This time, there was still no one in little Goku's house, and Lin Chen also didn't stay for long. He took out the 4-star bead, which was still a stone from the system space, and rolled it under Goku's bed. Then, Lin Chen came to Kamehameha house. There was no one here either. And Lin Chen still didn't stay here for long. He just found a place to put down the 3-star bead and left. Then, Lin Chen kept teleporting and placing the few Dragon Balls in the Ox King's castle and other places. After all the 7 Dragon Balls were dealt with, sure enough, a prompt appeared in Lin Chen's mind. Ding! Confirming that the history has been corrected. Congratulations host for obtaining 1 time point. Sure enough. Lin Chen clenched his fist. The so-called correction of history is actually to set the course of the world in the direction of the original story of Dragon Ball. Originally, because of the Planet Tu incident, Lin Chen asked Kami to gather all the Dragon Balls on Earth, so the story of the 7 Dragon Balls might not have happened in this world. But now that Lin Chen has put the 7 Dragon Balls back where they belonged, the story of the Dragon Ball world may continue to unfold. Relying on instant transmission, when Lin Chen again appeared in front of the spacetime door, only half an hour had passed. Using instant transmission so many times and so quickly is also the first time for Lin Chen. So, after he returned, Lin Chen was half dead from exhaustion and couldn't help gasping for breath. After a long while, Lin Chen looked at the spacetime door which hadn't undergone any changes and asked in his heart. System, can I now set the destination of the spacetime door? Ding! Replying to the host, please confirm the timeline you want to go to. Then, I want to go to the timeline where choice 3 can be completed. The next moment, Lin Chen sensed a force shot out of his body and hitting the spacetime door. Immediately, the color of the blood-red spacetime door began to change, from the blood-red to blue. When the color of the spacetime door stabilized to deep blue, the system issued a prompt, ding. The destination of the spacetime door has been set, please cross as soon as possible. Hearing this, Lin Chen was about to leave, but he suddenly thought of one more thing, by the way, how will I come back after I pass? This must be clarified first. Ding! Replying to the host, after you pass through the spacetime door, you will leave coordinates at the place you arrive. If the host wants to go back, you only need to return to that place. But after opening it again, the spacetime door will disappear. The next time you want to use it, time points need to be consumed again. I see, a time point is equivalent to a round-trip ticket that can be used once. Thinking of this, Lin Chen no longer hesitated and headed for the spacetime door and entered. Somewhere in the universe. Unknown time. In the originally deathly still darkness, a blood-red crack suddenly appeared in the space that should have been empty. The crack continued to spread out, stopping when it became a rectangular space door that was enough for one person to pass through. Shio! A figure suddenly emerged from it, and immediately, the space door behind him, which had been transformed from a crack, began to shrink rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a blood-red sphere that was almost imperceptible to the naked eye. This is the parallel universe which has another Broly. The figure that appeared from the space door was Lin Chen, who had traveled through spacetime. Staring at the dazzling stars around him, Lin Chen raised his eyebrows, and then he used instant transmission to head towards the coordinates of Planet Vegeta in his memory. Arriving at Planet Vegeta's location in the original world, as expected, Lin Chen did not see the planet at the location where it was transferred by the Eternal Dragon. Where there should be Planet Vegeta, there is currently nothing. This is really another world. If that's the case, then I should go find Broly. I remember he is in the south area. In his memories, the story of legendary Super Saiyan wreaking havoc happened in the south area. This story is originally the plot of the Dragon Ball movie The Burning Battle. This movie tells that before Planet Vegeta was destroyed, King Vegeta tried to kill Broly because he was afraid that Saiyan Paragus' son Broly would be a danger to Vegeta. Unexpectedly, neither Broly nor Paragus died. Instead, they relied on Broly's strength to escape and came to the south area. After that, Paragus used Broly's strength to wreak havoc in the south area and established the new Planet Vegeta, intending to get revenge against the surviving Saiyan Vegeta and others. Now, since the system wants Lin Chen to liberate the south area controlled by the legendary Super Saiyan, Lin Chen naturally has to go to the south area to find Broly and Paragus' whereabouts. Lin Chen held his breath and concentrated, but after a while, he was stunned. Well, where's the south area? Even in the original world, Lin Chen had never been to the south area, and his instant transmission could not be performed if he didn't know the location of his destination. What should I do? Lin Chen scratched his head. Got it. The next moment, he performed instant transmission again, but this time the destination was Earth. He remembered that Paragus made a special trip to Earth to get revenge on Vegeta in the storyline. If he arrives on time, he might be able to go with them. I wonder if the timeline of this world has progressed to the time when the plot of the burning battle happened. But even if it hasn't, it doesn't matter. He can just look for Kami in this world and ask him to take him to the other world, and then he can go to North Kai's planet from there to look for North Kai. At that time, he could still know the location of the south area. When he appeared on Earth, Lin Chen discovered this world's era at a glance, probably many years later than his original world. Because Lin Chen often travels to West City, every time Lin Chen uses instant transmission to come to Earth, he will stop over in West City first. And it was no surprise this time too. It's just that when Lin Chen appeared above West City, he found that the West City under his feet was much more prosperous than his original world. In the city, there are many more billboards that he has never seen before. From this, it can be judged that the era of this world should be many years later than his original world, and the storyline of the Dragon Ball world should have already begun. I just don't know which age it is. After thinking about it for a bit, Lin Chen relaxed his mind and swept his senses through the auras on the entire planet. Soon, he discovered many powerful auras. There were several auras, clearly belonging to Saiyan, and one of them he was more familiar with. This is Vegeta. Sure enough, Vegeta has appeared on Earth, and there isn't battle yet, so the timeline of this world should only be after Frieza was defeated. I just don't know whether it's time for the plot of the burning battle. Thinking of this, Lin Chen directly performed instant transmission and appeared near Vegeta's location. It was a sakura forest. As soon as Lin Chen appeared, everyone at the scene detected his aura. Who is it? The next moment, Lin Chen was surrounded by a group of people. Seeing these familiar faces, Lin Chen couldn't help feeling a little emotional. Vegeta, Future Trunks, Son Gohan, Turtle Hermit, Bulma, Oolong and others. This world's time is indeed many years later than the time of his world. Looking at them, androids have already appeared. That hello. Lin Chen waved at the crowd and said with a smile. But his greeting did not dispel the vigilance of the people in front of him. Vegeta stared at Lin Chen, his eyes first glancing at the battle armor on Lin Chen's body and then landed on the tail wrapped around his waist as he exclaimed, Saiyan? Are you a Saiyan? Yes, I'm a Saiyan. My name is Lynx, you can also call me by my Earth name, Lin Chen. Impossible. Hearing Lin Chen admit that he is a Saiyan, Vegeta waved his hand, the only Saiyans left in this world are me, Kakarot, and our sons. How can there still be Saiyans? Looking at Vegeta's disdainful look, Lin Chen had to admit that compared to this grown-up Vegeta, the little Vegeta in his world, who begged him to become his teacher is cuter. You're right as well as wrong, but I'm not a Saiyan of your world. I'm from another space-time. Another space-time? Hearing this, everyone was stunned for a moment. Most of them didn't understand what Lin Chen said, but don't forget that there was a super genius Bulma present. She hugged little Trunks, who was still a baby, and squeezed over from the other side. Another space-time? Are you a Saiyan from another parallel universe? Just like Trunks? Bulma, stay away from him, this person is still very suspicious. Vegeta immediately shouted when he saw his wife get near. Trunks was also very nervous. Mom, be careful. It's okay. He shouldn't be lying. Danta in this world is a Dantra free as the Bulma in Lin Chen's world. She said to future Trunks, I don't think he is lying. Don't forget, Trunks, aren't you also from a parallel universe? After Trunks heard it, he was stunned. It seems that his mother is right, isn't he from the future of a parallel universe? That being the case, it doesn't seem impossible that Saiyan from a different parallel universe can appear. Hey. How did you come to our world? Do you also have a time machine? Bulma continued to ask curiously. Lin Chen said, I actually got stranded here because of an accident and not because of any time machine. My scouter just now had detected that there are powerful people here, so I came over to take a look, but I didn't expect to meet you all here. Looking at them, Lin Chen knew that they were holding a cherry blossom viewing party, and it should be just before the plot of the burning battles happened. In the plot of the burning battles, Paragus appeared during the cherry blossom viewing party. Lin Chen suspects that Paragus may appear at any time now, so he doesn't intend to explain too much. Fortunately, most of the people present, except for Bulma, are not only those who only know training, but also those who only know about food and beauties, and Bulma's personality is also carefree. Seeing that Lin Chen didn't have anything else to say, she also didn't insist. Therefore, everyone soon stopped bothering Lin Chen about his origins. On the contrary, little Gohan and others enthusiastically invited Lin Chen, a wanderer from another world, to participate in their cherry blossom viewing party. Son Gohan also told him that when his father comes over, he would introduce Lin Chen to him. The cherry blossom viewing party started again. Everyone lay down on the grass and started singing karaoke. The Tsundere Vegeta hid on the side again, leaning on the tree and closing his eyes. Everything is just like the plot of the burning battles in Lin Chen's memory. Knowing that Paragus will arrive soon, Lin Chen was not in a hurry to look for Broly, instead he plans to let the plot develop naturally. Moreover, being able to chat with these familiar characters in front of him is also a rare experience for Lin Chen. After all, there are many people here, who in Lin Chen's world, are either not yet born or are still children, and the one Lin Chen is most familiar with is them of this age. When Krillin started to sing, Lin Chen asked Gohan about the situation in this world because he wanted to know about Saiyans on Earth. As a result, Lin Chen discovered that this parallel universe was indeed a different world from the Dragon Ball world he knew of. If the original work's Dragon Ball world that Lin Chen knows about is regarded as the main world, then Lin Chen's own world is a parallel world of the Dragon Ball world. And this world, like Lin Chen's world, is also a parallel world different from the main world. In this world, Cell games didn't happen. Although both androids and Cell appeared one after another, the storyline was different from Dragon Ball's main world that Lin Chen knows of after Cell absorbed 17. In this world, in order to defeat 17 and 18, Vegeta, Goku and others entered the hyperbolic time chamber one after another, gaining strength beyond Super Saiyan. As a result, when Cell was in his second form, Vegeta did not allow Cell to absorb 18 like in the main world, instead he directly killed him. Since then, the storyline has changed. Because there was no perfect Cell in this world, there was no Cell games, and humans did not learn that such terrifying monsters exist in this world, so the world still maintains peace, just like what Lin Chen can see now. So it's like this. After listening to Gohan's explanation, Lin Chen also cleared up the suspicions that he had until now. When he watched the burning battles before, he didn't understand something. The timeline of the burning battles should be 10 days before Cell games, but even though a decisive battle is coming soon, and there is Cell, a powerful enemy waiting, why did Vegeta and others go all the way to the south area? End of the world was coming, but why were people on Earth still lining up to enroll their children in schools? It turns out to be because Cell had already died. Trunks, did your father save the world? Lin Chen couldn't help but ask Trunks who was beside him. The latter lowered his head and blushed, not knowing how to answer. At this time, Bulma smiled and said, even if he saved the world, he can't even sing well. Do you know why he is hiding on the side? It's because he is embarrassed that he doesn't sing as well as Krillin. Ha ha ha. The others laughed when they heard it. Bulma. Vegeta suddenly jumped out from behind a cherry blossom tree and shouted angrily. Just then, above everyone's head, it suddenly turned dark, and then a huge spaceship suddenly appeared in front of them. It's here. Lin Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. The others stood up one after another with a look of wariness. Trunks. That spaceship? Gohan asked. Yes, there seems to be a Saiyan on it. Trunks nodded. Humph. What's going on today? Why has another Saiyan appeared? Lynx, is he your friend? Vegeta asked, the arrogant look on his face returning. No, I don't recognize this spaceship and the Saiyan on it. Lin Chen said. Amidst everyone's discussion, the spaceship landed on the grassland not far from them, and then, a big group of aliens in purple armor walked down from the spaceship and then rushed towards everyone.